This is episode 1 of Dreams and Things podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Coley. This is my first podcast, and this is already weird because I'm talking kind of formal, but I have in-person guests. I have Aaron Reece. Can you introduce yourself, Aaron Reece?
Yes, my name is Aaron Reece. That is, don't look at you or look at the camera. What's
Yeah.
kosher?
Yeah, we can go back and forth. We can go back and forth. We're looking through the camera.
Awesome.
If you want to make awkward stares at the camera for the audience, you can do that. Not many people will watch this unless we share it and stuff, but let's just go with the flow. Let's not make it formal like I just did. All right. Aaron, tell me about yourself.
My name is Aaron. I have been a musician since I was about 10 years old. It's always been a passion of mine. Me and my brother actually were we used to try to see who could play guitar the fastest, who could be the most Yngwie Malmsteen when we were growing up.
Older brother, younger brother?
Older brother, yeah.
Okay.
My older brother Daniel, and we both took lessons from this guy, super cool cat named Matt Smith. And Matt actually was kind of I don't know it's not crucial, but sort of imperative in a way for shaping a lot of my musical diet at the time, because he turned me on to Grateful Dead, which a 10-year-old.
Grateful Dead at 10 years old.
Yeah, it's not something that a 10-year-old normally listens to, because my brothers and stuff were listening to AC/DC and shit like that, and that shit was dope.
How much older is he?
Daniel is almost 30. I'm 27.
Okay.
And then my middle brother is my middle brother is about to be 29. So we're each 15 months apart. My parents were clockwork with it.
You're the baby.
I'm not the baby. I have a younger sister. She goes to CFC honors.
Okay. Yeah.
But I was the baby for a long time, and I hated Caroline when we were kids. But now we're best friends.
Yeah, I got you. So you were a musician since 10.
Mm-hmm.
Inspiration by your parents,
There's a lot of
who picked up your brother just picked up a guitar and
yeah. So,
or did your dad give them you a guitar or
a little bit of all of those things, because the guitar that I still have, my acoustic guitar, is a family heirloom. It's been in my family since 1977.
Is it some Gibson?
It's a Takamine. It's
yeah, that's a great brand.
Yeah, I love it. It's the lawsuit model, because they had the headstock was the CF Martin logo. It's the last year they made that one. It's a really sick guitar. But my grandpa bought that because my dad wanted to learn how to play guitar, and then my dad hung on to it, I guess, until I was in sixth grade or fifth grade, sixth grade, somewhere in there, and that's what I learned on, and it was really hard because it was a full body acoustic guitar, and
you're the size of the guitar.
Yeah. So wrapping around chords was super difficult, but we made it happen. It was cool. And then both my brothers were influential in the music I listened to, because it's always you always want to be cool in front of your older brothers growing up. That's something conscious or unconscious, you just want to be cool to them.
Who was the best musician?
I don't want to. It was me. I don't want to feel bad.
Were they in bands?
You see, Daniel was way more into death metal music. He was. They were the learning curve that he went on was much sharper than I was. A slow burn. It took me a long time to get the basics down, but 2 months into playing guitar, he was sweep picking and doing all this crazy fast galloping and stuff that I just was over my head, and I just didn't have the technical ability.
See, I went to New Brooklyn Tavern since I was probably 14, 16. And there was also screamo, death metal, heavy music, and I never appreciated it until I learned technicalities of it, how hard it is. So.
Yeah. That was always kind of my thing was I never really gravitated towards the super still even now I try. There's a few bands that I really like that are heavy or punk metal, that kind of thing that's kind of in your face. But
what's the heaviest band you ever listened to?
The heaviest band I've ever listened. That depends on what kind of heavy.
Yeah.
Because there's
heavy? What is heavy?
Yeah, exactly. Because there's the death metal heavy that's just the technical super beefy punch you in the face kind of stuff, and then there's the Electric Wizards and the Dope Smokers, the Sleeps, what I'm saying? Those kind of bands that are just so sludgy and heavy that it's time slows down when you're listening to it. So I think Sleep and Electric Wizard are the two that I like the most that are super super heavy. And then there's Cephalic Carnage, which I still listen to regularly.
Have you ever been to a Vans Warped Tour?
Never.
Okay.
Never. I hadn't. I missed out on that when it was. I guess it's still happening, right?
Yeah,
they still do.
Probably not the same.
Yeah.
So you're talking about how your brother was into the heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And your brothers were inspiring you to get into music, and you listened to Wizard, you said?
Electric Wizards.
And Sleep.
Sleep, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like, they just have riffy ass riffs. But what's funny about that is like, it's like they inspired me. I didn't really listen to a lot of the music they listened to because I wasn't into the. You want to top that off?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Like they were more into like heavier music. Like I remember it was music I was scared of as a kid. It was like Iron Maiden 666, you know, the number of the beast. And like we were raised like Christian at the same time. I was still like scared of my religious.
Yeah.
Like my parents are still very religious, but like it was music that I was like kind of intimidated by, and I didn't really like it. But I wanted, like I said, like my brothers were cool. I wanted to be cool.
Yeah.
So we would always try and find the heavier band. We'd always like be like, oh, you think that's heavy? Well, check this out. You think that's heavy? Check this out. And then I thought my guitar teacher, I mentioned, he like introduced me to the Grateful Dead, and he was talking to me about like how technical and stuff they were. And with a name like Grateful Dead, I thought it was going to be some like thrash shit. As a 10-year-old, I was like, it's going to be the thrashiest stuff ever. I was at a record store one day with my mom, and like their album arts, it's like all these skeletons and stuff. I'm like, this band is gonna be this is gonna blow Iron Maiden out of the water. These guys don't know what is gonna about to hit them. So I get the best of Grateful Dead CD, and I was like, you guys think the shit y'all's listening to is heavy? Check this out. We put it in the CD player in the minivan, and it's like Uncle John's band, you know, just like the chillest, low key jam band shit, like. And I was kind of embarrassed at the time because I was like, oh no, this isn't heavy at all.
What kind of music was your dad into? Was he into like the Christian worship music?
No, like,
or he was into like Fish and Allman Brothers? Like...
No, my dad was he's super into like the outlaw country. He likes Bob Dylan a whole lot. Okay. Like Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Is he musically talented at all?
Fuck no.
Okay.
Fuck no, not at all.
What are you like? What's your like heritage? Like Irish? Like you know anything like from your heritage?
I know Reece is a Welsh name, so like half of me is Welsh descent, and then my mom and grandma, they're I believe Irish, because my grandma had red hair, so it would make a lot of sense. If that was the case. Yeah. Or I don't know, maybe a little bit of German, just straight up, just Europe white guy.
White guy. You know? Yeah, I got my 23andMe test like a month ago because
nice.
I didn't really like. I had a dad. Well, no, I didn't really have a dad. He left. Like I didn't have a dad growing up, but who I thought was my dad wasn't my dad until I was like my mom told me when I was 18. Like,
oh, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, like he went to jail like for like being in a gang. He was in the Crip gang in Philadelphia. Him and a couple people that killed someone and no one wanted to admit who did it. So he went to jail for that. And then like he did, I think it was like the crack era too. So he was on that stuff. And one day like he told my mom like, going to get some bread. He like never came back. But that was like I think before I was born. But who I thought was my dad he's an African American black man So I've always been confused growing up. It's like, am I mixed? Am I black and white? Am I black and white? People thought I was Asian. People thought I was Hispanic. People thought I was Samoan. And like finally I got a 23andMe test, and 50% like British and Irish, and then other 50%. No, it's like 60% British and Irish and some German, and then 40% is like from West Africa, Nigerian.
Whoa.
So, but I don't technically know who my dad is. So I don't know. It's just interesting that like I don't know. I would probably go into concepts about fatherhood and being a dad, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was gonna, like you can ask me any questions too if I ask you questions, because
I always bring up the topic of 23andMe because like I've never known that could be I guess sort of
they told me I was
thing.
like Asian. I'm not gonna act Asian. Like, so I don't know.
I didn't know it could be like so cathartic to just like have an answer for like your own background, like.
I don't know if it was cathartic because I still don't know. Like they do the like relatives and DNA relatives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it told me like a fourth cousin or fifth cousin who might be my dad. So I gotta like still fill in the crumbs and stuff and search and stuff. Right. But yeah. But anyways, I mean, let's get back to the music.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's get back to the music. So growing up, your brothers inspired you. What was your first band called?
Oh man, it was like one of those like middle school, high school bands that like we went through a name change every week, you know. Let me think of the best ones. We were Donnie Gone Wild, based off the Wild Thornberries.
Oh yeah.
We were Donnie Gone Wild, Charmed, I'm sure, for a little bit.
What is it again?
Charmed, I'm sure.
Okay.
And then I think we were like so many names, I can't even remember them all. Those are the ones that stuck out to me. But then like even like later, started playing with a bunch of different dudes, and we were like in tons of different bands, like the same rotating cast of like 3 or 4 guys in the same band that played like a slightly different style of music, you know.
Yeah.
It was like hard a little bit in growing up in the area that I did, because like everyone was super into metal and super into like the heavy stuff.
If you weren't playing that, then they didn't want to.
Yeah, like I was like this, like, you know, like my favorite band was like Pink Floyd. I played a Telecaster, and it was like that's like the least heavy thing ever. Like I listened to like Bob Dylan and cry. Like it's like
okay.
So like it was hard for me to like find people to jam with and like really like connect to in that musical scene. Like yeah, I think Columbia and like most scenes that I've witnessed are kind of that same way, whereas there's a very much like a hardcore scene.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Why do you think that is in Colombia, just in general? Like, why do you think there's such a hardcore scene in Colombia?
I don't know.
It's just not. You think like that has to do with environment, or just like
maybe,
just
yeah.
untappedness or something?
Yeah.
Like
I think maybe environment, because like, a coworker of mine, we were talking about like when we were growing up, listening to like heavier stuff and like metal varieties, and like he was like, yeah, like he was pretty much saying the same thing. It was like trying to find the heavier band in your group of friends.
Yeah. And
he grew up in Goose Creek, and that was kind of like that rural area similar to Columbia.
Yeah.
And I think it might be something to that, where like, you know, the environment that you kind of exist in kind of influences your tastes,
I guess. Yeah.
I mean, even look at the music down. This is Charleston. We're like a coastal city.
It's a lot different.
Yeah. There's like the main bands that are like, most of the bands that exist down here are like kind of fun, like almost like
folky jam.
Yeah, folky jam. And then like you got bands like Dead Swells that's like super surfy, and then like Susto is like got that like country twang to it.
I want to talk about Susto. Like growing up, I always heard Susto.
Yeah.
And I know the main guy, he came from what band again?
Justin came, he was in, I'm drawing
It's a famous band. It's like a famous local band. I'm trying to remember it.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, we're going to look it up. We're going to look it up real quick. But as you do that, yeah. So you grew up in Columbia, 15 minutes from New Brooklyn Tavern. Like during like the years that like they were bringing in heavy hitter like names and stuff.
Yeah,
like what was your first like memory of going to New Brooklyn Tavern?
Well, see, that's so funny that you mentioned the heavy hitters and like the big concerts, because my first show ever at New Brooklyn Tavern, I went, and it was like me, my buddy, and like 2 other people, and the bands that were there. It was one of my favorite experiences ever, because like I saw this band, Seawolf Mutiny.
Okay.
And
that's a crazy name.
Yeah, it is a crazy name. It's based off a book. I had to go read the book because the band was like, they were giving out free CDs, and it was like I was just getting into like smoking weed at the time. I think I was like 14.
How old
or
were
15.
you?
14 or 15.
You started weed at 14?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you know, like, well, my older brothers, you know, influenced.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I don't want to put that on them,
but
they also got me smoking the tobacco, which is why I have this thing.
Yeah, man.
Better than tobacco, but not much.
Yeah.
But that was a super memorable experience, just because the bands that were playing were just so dope, and like it was kind of like awe-inspiring, because like there was like 3 or 4 people in the crowd, me and my buddy included, and like there's these bands playing like some of the coolest music I had ever seen. And it was like indie rock. It wasn't anything heavy at all. It was like just like indie rock, singer-songwriter stuff, very like dipping its toes into like the experimental waters, you know. And I just thought it was like the dopest thing ever. So that's like my first profound memory of New Brooklyn Tavern. And then like, you know, when you're like 16 and stuff, like me and my buddies would like work up a set and like just play some shows there. And like I remember my buddy Seth Boone was in a band in high school called Invader, and they were like thrash rock, you know, thrash metal, and we would always go to them. Like our entire like group of friends in high school would go to New Brooklyn and just
Sequoia Prep School.
Sequoia Prep School. I almost said Handsome Boy Modeling School, but that's like a DJ collective. Like,
yeah. So we're gonna get back to it, but before that, Susto, the main guy, Justin, he was in the band Sequoia Prep School.
Yeah.
Which is probably like one of the first major like known local bands like from our age, like our age.
Yeah. It's not like Hootie or anything, which is like kind of dad rock, but
yeah. But if you're in the Columbia, I'm from Sumter, which is like 45 minutes down the road.
Yeah.
And like I definitely listened to Sequoia, and they were one of the first like local bands, and that made me get into local music. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. But what was your first show you played at?
My first show. So I was my buddy Jaime and Daniel were kind of in this like. It was Jaime's music. He was just like he just wrote like pop punk jams, and he needed a bass player and a drummer. And Daniel like had a drum set, and then I had a bass. So we were playing like it was like I was at New Brooklyn Tavern. I think I was about 16 years old.
It's crazy.
The name of the band was like Give 'Em Hell Kid, which I think was based on like an MCR song or something like that.
Okay.
But that was a lot of fun. Like,
well, you gotta go more detail than that. I mean, I'm a man who'd never been on a stage to play the musician like an instrument. Tell people how it feels to like get on a stage and play an instrument. Like
that's so weird to think about now.
Like it's like it's a performance. Like, what if you fuck up? What if you mess up? You can cuss. What if you mess up? Like, did you mess up your first time?
Oh, for sure. But like, it was so fun just hanging out with my buddies and playing music. Is that's how I interpret it. It was just like we were having fun. I feel like Jaime was much more vulnerable in the situation because it was his songs, his words. He was singing, he was fronting the band. And Daniel, it was like a very perfectionist type vibe. So like if anything went wrong on his end, he would just like. I remember he forgot his like cymbal stands or some piece of hardware like he needed to play the drums, and he was like almost was having like a panic attack about it, and like.
Oh man, our buddy panic attacks.
Yeah, our buddy who lived next to Daniel, who like was coming to the show, we were like sound checking, and like he was like calling this dude. He was like, "Dude, you gotta get the hardware. You gotta get the hardware." And he was like, "Dude, okay, that's cool." Like it ended up being fine, but it was like there was more stress I think on their end. And then I don't know, like I was a guitar player for 6 years before that, and I was playing pop punk bass. And I'm not distant. I love the bass. I love all bass players. So it's like
all right, just go ahead and say all the instruments that you know, like you know how to play.
I can play guitar, bass, mandolin, keyboards, drums. I guess banjo. I haven't played banjo in a minute, but I can figure it out if I sit down with
what
it. What
kept feeding like your like inspiration to keep learning? Just being around people who were musicians?
Yeah,
like to learn all those instruments. And
I don't know. It was just cool. I liked it.
Yeah, okay.
It was like I don't know.
Was there any hint of like it got you girls in high school, or was like?
Yeah, no, that was.
What was the motivation? You love music. You love music.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Was just music. I mean, all my friends were like, definitely like, oh, dude, there's gonna be so many girls at our shows. It's gonna be so cool. But like, I mean, that's cool and all. Like I definitely thought that was a perk, but that wasn't necessarily like, a driving force.
What I'm trying to say is like when you're 16, you're learning all these instruments and playing. Like y'all's goal was to get famous, right? Like to like.
Well, at that time, I was just helping my buddy.
You're just hanging out with your buddies. Okay,
yeah.
I got you.
And that's kind of how it is. That's how it's been in like every band I've been in now that I think about it. Cause with that band, I was just hanging out with my buddies. We were jamming, and you know, Jaime went off to college. Daniel like was like successful in like. Making films and stuff. R.I.P. Daniel Kyer. He's amazing and I love him.
Yeah, tell me about Daniel. He makes films. I'm interested. Like,
no mixed feelings. It's all love. It's just sorrow mainly because like he was a victim of suicide.
Okay.
So it's like it happened a while ago. So it's not hard to talk about. But my feelings are still like conflicted.
How long did you know him?
We grew up together, man. We were in like 6, 7 bands growing up, you know, like through like that same rotating cast of musicians. Like just we would always go to Daniel's house, jam, and we were just good friends that played music together, and we just like would make dumb cartoons.
How old was
animation.
he when he passed away?
Give me 1 second. I think he was. I think he was like 22, 23.
Okay.
Let me make sure about that real quick. It's so the one cool thing about having phones. I don't mean to keep looking at my phone.
No, you're good. I mean, I like the natural, just like go with the flow. Like people, I learned with podcasting, people like to watch people talk about nothing and everything at the same time. So like, we're just gonna go with it. So you tell me about him, like
Yeah.
we can switch the subject if you want, kind of thing.
No, it's cool. I like talking about Daniel. He's
I would bring the mic
just
a little closer, to you.
Okay, yeah. Okay. No, we can talk about it. It's like he's a good friend of mine. I like talking about him. I like keeping his
That's how you keep his memory alive. Have you seen what's the movie? Guys, let me get it right. It's basically it's the concept that basically you're still alive as long as people talk about you. Basically, it's like your memory's still alive. It's it starts with a C, and it's a Pixar DreamWorks movie, and he's like a guitarist.
Coco. Yeah. I had actually seen that one. I was excited to see that when it came out, but I never got that.
You gotta see it.
I have Disney Plus. It's on there, right?
It's really good.
I'm gonna have to check that shit out.
You should watch it. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, tell me about Daniel and just keep his memory alive, basically.
Yeah, I mean him and Ryan McGee, who's another guy like we were friends with, and like we're just in school together and we like hung out. But I was always close with Daniel because we had like the music connection. But Daniel and Ryan like started this like YouTube channel. It was called Syndigo.
Syndigo? Okay.
Yeah. It's like they made hilarious videos. There's so many like funny videos they have. I still watch them, like just like one for nostalgia and like memory, but also it's good comedy. Okay. It's good comedy. And
that's why you should record things and put things online.
Exactly why you should.
Yeah.
And they started off just doing like dumb little silly videos, and like I guess they were just so clever and so fun, to watch. Like they got a huge following. They actually both got jobs in LA, like as filmmakers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so they moved out to LA, and then like it was like a year later. I mean, I hadn't talked to Daniel since he moved out.
Okay.
Like so like I was like we would text every now and then, but I hadn't like sat down and like talked to him. I didn't know where his head was at all. So that's why the conflicted feelings was like I wish like to a degree that like if I had like if I like talked to him more, or like if I just like kind of like got him to because we talk all the time like on like deep emotional level. It's like one of the layers of our friendship was he would tell me stuff I guess maybe he didn't feel comfortable telling other people, emotional stuff, whether it was like
so
about
you knew him, like,
we were good friends, and I don't know, I guess I wish I had a chance to just talk to him one more time.
Yeah.
Whether that was before anything happened to maybe prevent something from happening, like help him feel loved, or.
Have you had any other friends pass away?
Yeah, I have. I mean, I
had a roommate pass away. He like died in a house fire, like asleep.
That's awful.
And he was a musician too. His name's Max Gazda. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He was in Columbia when I went to school, and he was like kind of trying to do his thing in the music scene. But yeah, like growing up, like friends pass away, like
that's
so crazy.
That is something that is
like not everyone makes it to like our age.
Yeah,
like,
not everyone gets to experience their late 20s.
It's like we don't know if that's a good thing or not yet. So.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's weird. It's weird. I mean, but we definitely have like plenty of fond memories. I have like audio recordings saved on like a hard drive somewhere, just like the stuff we put out on MySpace, like
I'm trying to show the layers of Aaron right now. Like he has some deep thoughts. Like, all right, let's just go into how like we met. Like, I just realized that we were working beside each other for almost a year.
Yeah, like we right next door, pretty much in the same complex.
It's weird, and I'm gonna admit it, but I always knew who you were. Because just like being in the Columbia scene, seeing you in bands, like just knowing people that and I always knew who you were. I don't know if we're gonna like chalk it up to like just social anxiety, like scared to meet people, scared to introduce yourself.
Yeah, but well, like introducing yourself to someone that you nebulously know is difficult.
It's weird. You don't want to like seem like you're over like I don't even know the words right now, but. Basically, you said hi to me, and that just broke the ice. Yeah,
because I noticed you were wearing your New Brooklyn Tavern hoodie.
I wear it all the time.
Yeah, and I was like, I kept seeing you whenever I was like out of the shop.
I'm pretty easy to like spot. So.
Yeah, I would be like, oh, dude, New Brooklyn Tavern. I bet that dude's from Columbia. So then the one time we were in close enough proximity, we're like within earshot. I'd be like, hey, dude.
Yeah, it'd be weird if we just like walked by each other. Like, yeah. We finally, and we just hit it off, and we just like talked about music right off the bat.
Yeah.
Talked about like what you're working on and stuff. So let's talk about what you've been working on.
This is something I'm super excited about, and it's like it's a complex structure of thoughts that like I trying to understand more by just exploring them, which is the concept of the album is pretty much based on this play written by this dude Jean-Paul Sartre. It's called No Exit, and the most famous and controversial line of that entire play was the last like 4 words, which is "Hell is other people."
Whoa!
It was like how it closes, and I was like, and I read that like I guess at the beginning of lockdown, and it kind of like threw me off because it is a very isolated state being in lockdown. You're not really going out seeing people. And I was like, hell is other people. Like I was missing everybody.
You
that
locked
I
your
loved.
doors and just stayed inside after that one.
Yeah, I was like missing everybody, and I was reading like hell is other people, and like the context of the play, sort of like sets it up. So like if you just hear that line, you think it's like super misanthropic, like you. Like being around people is torture, but like I had to understand it more, so I like looked into like the philosophy of this guy. He was like a French existentialist essay writer.
Okay,
and he's a dope ass motherfucker, Jean-Paul Sartre, and he like I was listening to and reading.
Let's talk about like time period, like how like what when did you write this?
This was like the early 1900s.
Okay.
It was early 19 like you know the French existentialist movement. Like post-nihilism, like 1930s.
After the revolution, the French Revolution.
Yeah, yeah. Like it was like between like pre-World War I and then into the 50s, I guess is when the movement like I guess kind of was at its peak.
And how'd you come upon this material?
Honestly,
just Googling?
No, it was like I can't even remember. It just sort of I kept seeing I don't know if it was the universe talking to me or not, but it was like I kept seeing like the no exit like font and like I guess maybe suggested reading or whatever. So like I looked into it, and there's actually a play on BBC that I was able to watch because I couldn't find the book anywhere. Okay. And I hate Amazon. I refuse to order from Amazon.
What? Okay, like
Jeff Bezos ain't getting a dime from your boy. But so I just ended up just diving into it, and it was the context of the art that like I had to understand. So I looked into Jean-Paul Sartre, and like his explanation of hell is other people is like not how I interpreted it at all. And I kind of needed to understand context to like really get the vibe of it. And it was super inspirational because what he's actually saying, which is really dope, it's not so much that like the misanthropic, like being around other people is like a torture that I can't stand, like a living hell. What it is like alone, the universe is like folds itself around you, and like your experiences are like you
make a reality.
Yeah, it's like almost like a solipsistic in a way. It's like
explain that word. I don't know that word.
Solipsism is a philosophy in which like all reality is created within your mind, and every interaction you have is a product of.
We can go to some conspiracy theories over that, but
yeah, there's like it's pretty much like the Matrix in your head, I guess, is solipsism. But that's not what he's saying at all. He's saying like like being around people, your transcendence of like being an agent of the universe is then transcended by the transcendence of another's transcendence. And that's wordy. But what I mean to say is like, you realize that when you're alone, that the universe is part of you. It's like in like Buddhist meditations, it's like being alone and meditating. It's like you are one with the universe, and that's when you can really be one with the universe, is when it's like there's no distractions and just you as a part of reality. And then when people come into play, it's like you are an object in their reality. Oh. So it's like hard. It's hard to like sort of grasp my mind around that. So I had to keep researching and like reading different essays.
So technically, you're in my reality right now.
Yeah, and you're in mine. It's a co-created reality. We're wiring these circuits together.
Oh my God! Yeah, I didn't even smoke weed today.
But that was pretty much what inspired, and that specifically was like the being like inspired the title "Alone in a Room Full of People," and the concept of like you're at a party and you keep disassociating and zoning out, and it's hard for you to connect to other people.
Disassociation. Have you ever felt that before?
Yeah, not to like a degree where I thought it was like I needed to go to like therapy or get medication or anything, but I feel like zoning out, being a spacey dude.
Yeah, so I was gonna like say this while he's talking about his music. So tell me the name of your band, your artist, like what? It's
Spacey Dude.
Yeah.
So like that Spacey, everyone always thinks it's because it's like a weed or drug related, like Spacey, Space Cadet. It's not like that at all. It's literally just like sometimes I'll be having conversations with people and I'll be silent for 2 minutes and then I'll respond to them. You know, and like it's like not necessarily. It's just because like I just zone out or zone in or zone.
How does that affect like other things in your life? Just being spacey.
It is.
How about schoolwork? I mean, just like.
Oh, see, I was not good at academia at all. I dropped out of college like twice. I was thinking about going back.
You don't need it now.
Yeah, I was thinking about going back to college just so I could fulfill my lifelong dream of dropping out for a third time.
Hey, man.
It's my favorite joke.
You have a better chance at being Kanye West now since you dropped out. So you're good.
There you go. College dropout. Fuck yeah.
What did you go for?
So because the school system failed me so badly, and I felt like
it fails a lot of people.
Yeah, I felt like I wasn't a dumb guy.
No, some people just learn different ways.
Yeah, and I wanted to become a teacher or professor to some degree, so I could like help people that were like more my learning style. So that's what I was going to school for. It didn't end up working out, and now I'm just a carpenter who plays music, which is I love my life so much. I get to build cabinets and play music. It's cool.
Tell me how you became a carpenter and how long you've been a carpenter, and like tell me,
Not very
is there any
long.
philosophies that you think about while you're using your hands all the time?
No, yeah, but there's I think like as far as like philosophy, what I think is coolest about woodworking and I guess building stuff is that it can be so like mindful and zen because you're focused on a task and it kind of takes up a lot of your definitely physical but mental energy. So it's like you're in it and it's a very mindful meditative thing, and it's like kind of hard on your body, but it's fun. I really like it.
It's fulfilling, right?
Yeah, it's a really good feeling.
I can see that. Like,
there's like a sense of
you accomplished something.
Yeah, like
you didn't waste your day.
Yeah, gratification, like when you like build somebody's kitchen island or something like that. It's like
I can totally see that.
You put that in their house. It's like that's sick. I did that. That's cool.
Yeah, some people they work at a desk and they see a computer and they just like plug some stuff in, and then they go home. Like, what did they really do today? Like, you built something. Like building, just the act of building, it's a lot different than a lot of other jobs. So
yeah,
I mean,
but I got into carpentry because actually like.
Your friends?
Yeah. So I was working at a guitar shop when I moved down here.
Where at?
Guitar Center.
Okay.
Yeah, it's but I like made some friends there, and a couple of guys asked me to like play in their band.
And what band is that?
It was Rare Creatures.
Yeah. I want to go into Rare Creatures. Their music video they did where they like burned the freaking like room down. What song was that?
That was Human Resources.
Human Resources. Okay.
Yeah, so that's like I guess a brother band of because we record with Matt Zutel is the drummer of Human Resources. That's the guy who produced Rare Creatures self-titled.
Okay.
So like we're like kind of there's like the incestuous art community of Charleston, So it's all somewhat connected. Paul asked me to be in that music video because at the time I had really long hair and the girl he wanted to be in the video had really short hair, and I guess you just wanted to
wanted a different dynamic. Okay.
Yeah. But then I cut my hair and then he was like. I could tell he was like really disappointed that I cut my hair.
Yeah.
But it was like starting to dread, and like at the time I was.
You didn't want to be a dreadhead?
I didn't want to be a dreadhead, but I was like sleeping in my car and shit.
Oh, you gotta tell me about that.
Yeah, so this is all super interconnected. I want to tell you about. We're going back to how I started with carpentry, and then that'll develop the story.
We're just
like it was So I was working at a music shop. I was kind of just chilling, doing my own thing, and then a buddy of mine wanted. This goes back to me always being in bands just to help a buddy out,
Yeah.
Coleman Sawyer, who is Rare Creatures, kind of like songwriter and frontman. He, I guess, liked the way that I play guitar. He asked me to fill in for their guitar player because he's a professional photographer. It was the on season, a lot of weddings. He couldn't really make a lot of the gigs, and they're like pretty important gigs. There was like, like music hall.
There's money involved.
Music hall, music farm, that kind of stuff. That's like playing to like 800 to 1,200 people, and if like you need a lead guitar player.
Yeah.
So he asked me to play. I learned some songs, and I guess he liked the way that I played so much. He asked me to actually join the band. I didn't want to at the time because I felt like Keller was the guitar player that played with him before, and he's a sick dude, great photographer, great guitar player, but he didn't want to be in the band, and I thought in my mind I was stepping on his toes and like kicking him out of his band that he was in before.
Yeah,
and
I
was
see
like,
how you could feel a certain way.
I don't want to get in on
that
anyone's.
Reverberate years later.
Yeah. I don't want to get on anyone's nerves just by trying to help my buddies out, which is ended up what happened. Everyone hates me now, so.
Wait, are you still in Rare Creatures?
I am not, and I'll get to that in just a minute.
Okay,
I have I have a narrative in my head. I have to follow it. Otherwise,
Do we have some juicy drama? Like,
it's not juicy.
Soap opera shit?
It's not. It's a little juicy, I guess. It's like it's not Starburst juicy, but it's like
I mean, musicians they can be drama queens too, right?
Yo,
just
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean,
artists,
I feel like
just artists, creatives, like
creatives
we're emotional.
love.
We're very emotional.
Yeah, they love to put their emotion at the forefront of their beings.
We can go to that, but I'm just gonna go through this little tangent before I get I was watching this podcast. And this guy, he deals with like addictions and trauma, and he's talking about how like creative people are because of their trauma. Do you feel like you have trauma help make you creative? And if you say no, I want to that's a cool thing though.
I don't know if like trauma, because I mean I hadn't had like a quote unquote easy life. My life hasn't been like absolute.
Yeah, we're not gonna try to
nothing.
compare apples to oranges.
But like I mean I don't think trauma affects.
Would you consider a creative person? Would you consider yourself an artist?
Oh yeah, I mean like everything I do in life right now is whether I'm creating furniture or creating music or creating collage art. It's like I'm very much a maker of things. I like to think of myself as that, but like I don't know if trauma had anything to do with that. I think it's just like that was my interest, is to put stuff into the world that hadn't existed yet.
That's hey man, that's an artist right there. So. Tell me, okay, so we can get to the juicy, because you're not in Rare Creatures right now.
Mm-mm.
You're doing your thing. You're spacey dude. You're doing your solo thing. Dude. I knew you from like 5-6 years ago when you were with Dempsey.
Dempsey, I love those guys so much.
Yeah, man.
I love Dempsey. One of my favorite. I will not ashamed to say this, not in any narcissistic way, but that's one of my favorite bands. I love playing with Dempsey. I love the way Zach writes songs. I love the way Preston plays drums. I love the way CJ plays.
I met Preston before.
Yeah, Preston's a fucking hilarious, dope ass, amazing cook. I met Zach before too, yeah. Yeah, Zach is great. He's fucking hilarious, wild cat, super introspective, can put things on a page that like break your heart, like words. And Dempsey is,
anything he says, from his grandma, like
his uncle. His uncle was a plumber, and it taught his dad, Noli Santiago, how to make his own money and make his own life doing this thing. And like that was inspirational to Zach, because Zach like took that to heart, like making.
Yeah, and it was based off a family member. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was Uncle Dempsey, and then like I don't know, everyone in that band. CJ, he's the best bass player. Absolutely, he contains the greatest instrument that I've ever heard, which is his voice.
Oh,
like he was only a backup singer for.
He's just too scared to put himself out there? Or?
I think maybe. I talked to him about it sometimes. Like,
I
actually got really mad at him the other day because he released music. And it was a really good song, but it was an instrumental song. I was like, dude, why the fuck are you not singing on this?
Yeah.
I was so like, obviously I like the song. It's my homie's music. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to appreciate it.
What did he release under? What name?
It's Wandering Wave. That's his Instagram tag. CJ Rhodes, CJ Dreist, or Celery Rhododendron, depending on like what era of his Instagram it is. But he's a solid motherfucker. I love all those cats. Are dope.
And did they do anything like last year at all? Like,
well, last year, 2020, Dempsey released our first full length but second release. So we had the In Retrospect EP, which was like 2015, like 5-6 years ago at this point.
Yeah,
but like,
I was in college. I remember that.
We didn't release anything until.
I remember y'all's release show and everything too.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then we released. It's called Rituals. Is the name of the album. We recorded it with Kenny McWilliams at Archer Avenue. It was a lovely experience. I love Kenny.
Were you driving back and forth, or you were in Charleston?
Yes.
Okay.
I was. That was the point in my life where I was trying to.
Were you living in a car then?
Now it's half of it. I want to expand on that story because I feel like people just think I live in a car. They think I'm a bum.
No,
I'm not a bum.
No.
It's not a bum at all.
I actually had this weird point like out of college and when I was like in a low deep point that I wanted to be homeless, and I thought that's what I needed in life. And my mom was like, "You're crazy," but I don't know. I just had this concept. I wanted to live in a car and just not have like rules and people to.
Well, see, there's like a different level to it. Like the level that I experienced was like it was like destitution and like poverty made me live in a car. Yeah. There's the other like I guess end of it, like people who like buy vans and buses and soup them out to be like dope ass RVs. That's a whole nother type.
That's a different level.
That's a different level. That's like
I was seeing that level, but I was not gonna get that level. Yeah, at that point. Yeah.
But like what put me in that situation, I guess, was I was playing with Rare Creatures. I was working at a guitar shop. The way that worked out was like every time we would go on tour, I'd have to like ask off a variety of days, and they just kept getting upset. And like I wasn't a bad salesman, I was like at all, but they were losing patience with me, and then I was like, I can't keep asking off, otherwise, like so I either gotta like keep my job or just stay in this band.
Music,
and then Coleman. His dad owns a contracting company, Daly and Sawyer Construction.
Okay.
They do a lot of houses on like Sullivan's Island, Wabmala, like really $1 million houses, beautiful houses and stuff. So I got having no handyman experience at all, like completely green in the field. Got a job working on these like $1 million houses, very intimidating, very very anxiety inducing. But I was doing that instead of playing or working at the guitar shop, and we were touring for like months on end. We would leave for like 2 months, month and a half, every like a couple weeks. Just constantly just hitting the road, it was fun as hell, and I loved it. But like we weren't making a damn cent, and like I had rent to pay, I had car payments and shit like that, and I couldn't end up making it happen. And to know, I'm not. That was just my own shit. Like, like
it's hard to make a living playing music. That's what I heard. So.
Yeah. It's hard to make a living playing music, and like, it was easier, I guess, for some of the other people in the. I was
gonna ask, like, you had to take off. Like, how do these other people like have a job, and do they just do band full time? Like, how are they doing it?
It's a bit of background. It's like they have help in places where like financial help in places where I didn't have it, and that's like no shame or guilt in that. If I had, if my parents were giving me money to go on tour, I would fucking love that. I'm so jealous.
You never thought about moving back home, like when you were?
No, because I was so invested in.
That was your reason to go to Charleston. Probably was to get away from things. Like,
it was. I was trying to set up my own life. Be my own person.
Yeah.
And I felt like if I moved back to Columbia and like moved back in with my mom, which I would love. I love my mom, and like we get along really good, and she totally would have brought me back in. But like if I had done that, I would be kind of giving up.
You were making a man decision at that point.
Yeah, I was just gonna make it work.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter what. But like I was at some point, I was just like, I was staying with my buddy Grady, who's actually the first bass player of Dempsey. We moved down to Charleston together. He bought a house and was like letting me rent a room. But he kept like spiking rent on me. He kind of just wanted, he kind of just wanted to live by himself, and like he could have just told me that, and I could have found a place. But instead, he was just like, "Oh, you got to get out of here if you can't pay this new rent."
Yeah,
and it was like it wasn't a super.
We love everyone, by the way, guys.
We do love everyone. Yeah, we do. But it was hard to do. It was hard to do. I had to make the decision. Like, do I move home or do I continue being in this band? And like I enjoyed doing carpentry at that point. I was doing kind of like just general contracting, just like bullshit, but it was fun, like building houses and stuff, and playing in band, obviously touring, seeing parts of the world I could only imagine seeing was also like super exciting. I didn't want to give that up either.
Yeah.
So like for, I don't know, a solid 6 months, I was
touring.
So yeah, touring.
And then when you got back home, you kind of didn't have like a permanent place.
I didn't have a place. I was I got a membership at Planet Fitness so I could shower.
Yeah, man.
Keep clean, and then I would sleep in their parking lot like every night.
Dude, how did it build you as a person though? Did it? You're just like fuck this shit most of the time.
I was like fuck this shit, but like as far as just like the way that I guess patience in understanding people's situations and people's emotional states and stress, because like some people might not tell you what they're going through, or like you might not, even if they tell you, might not understand empathetically what that is. You just got to be patient with people and love people because they're going through something you don't have any idea how hard that shit is.
Yeah.
And I guess moreover, the ability an endurance of just the human spirit. It sounds a little heady, but
Yeah.
the endurance of the human spirit can like really withstand most, if not all, adversity. Because I was fucking homeless. I had no money.
I like that line. Yeah. Most if not all.
Yeah, most if not all. But like I was homeless. I had no place to stay. I was so stressed out and anxiety induced because I was so like
Were you smoking?
broke. I was not smoking anything. I was vaping, obviously, but like I was doing drugs a little bit. I wasn't drinking at the time because I didn't want to be one of those homeless bums that's always chasing a bottle.
Yeah.
So like that's why I recently got back into wine, because I feel like I'm at a place in my life right now where it's okay for me to drink and I can drink safely.
So yes, Aaron, I'm condoning everything you're doing right now because everything is fine. I'm gonna talk about a little bit about me and how I kind of connected with you.
Hell yeah, let me hear about it.
I guess like throughout college, I was a stoner, like all throughout college. And then I quit for like 3 years. I had this chance to become a videographer for Fox News out of college.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, I was going to be like the night guy, like drive the van, like get videotape and then bring it in and they edit it for the morning, like do traffic accidents. Like they said if like someone's like dead underneath the like coverage, don't film that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was going to be a great job, great benefits, and go take the drug test.
Oh no! I hate that that's a thing, man. That should not be. If you drink a beer off the clock, no one's gonna fault you for that. If you smoke a little bit of weed, why is that a criminal offense, dude? It's so dumb, especially now that so many states are legalizing. I'm sorry, I'm getting heated.
Yeah, no, we can get heated. We can hit it.
I'm sorry,
but that was the point. That was the turning point in my life. Did great in college. I was like, I had the opportunity to get an adult job right out of college, and I was a stoner and I wasn't responsible enough to like be an adult then, and I wasn't able to quit it. And I tried to get like my roommate's pee, and then like I brought it in and the pee was too warm, so they knew it was fake, so I had to like redo it.
Damn.
And then I just walked out. But that was like the turning point in my life. Basically, didn't get that job, so you're just like, well, damn, what do I do now? So basically, throughout my life, I have an issue with weed. People say like, you can be addicted, but I was addicted and I quit.
I totally like people say it's like you can't be physically addicted to weed, but there's like so much more to addiction than just the physical dependency.
It's just like how people are addicted to like eating food or just having sex or shopping. Yeah, shopping. Like
anything you can have a habit that's unhealthy that you just keep pursuing to a degree that like cannot be good for you. But so like I totally understand what you're saying there. Like weed can be harmful to a lot of people. It was harmful in my life too.
Yeah.
Like there was a point where that's why I don't smoke weed now.
That's what. So yeah, this like I just walked past you. You were eating lunch. I was eating lunch, and you were on your window, and I like asked you the question because literally I think 4 days before that I had one of the worst panic attacks of my life from weed. I thought I was gonna die.
Oh shit, that's terrible.
I thought I was gonna die. No. Like, swear to God, I thought I was gonna die. I had another one after that, and I still have them sometimes. It's only because of weed, so I just need to quit basically. But I was like, do you smoke? Because like I sometimes like I find friends and we kind of connect over weed more than anything else.
Because it's like drinking too.
It takes down like your like just the borders and your just walls, and you can connect with people and talk.
It's one like doorway, foot in the door for like conversations. Like, oh yeah, I like to smoke. I like to.
But then I was like, do you smoke? Because I was gonna be like, hey, we could like maybe smoke basically, and you were like, no man, it gives me the fear. And I was like, damn, me too. This is hitting me right now. And I like fist bumped, and I was like, okay, this guy doesn't smoke. That's actually I probably need someone around that doesn't smoke. Like. So I don't know, that kind of hit me. And when you said that you had the fear, I was like, okay, like, because I know some of your Instagram pictures, you had a joint in your hand.
Yeah.
And I was like, and also just musicians, creatives in general, like just 90% of them smoke. Like,
for sure, yeah. It's definitely like in the culture of it to be.
Yeah, so I was thinking like, what's going through Aaron's mind right now? That like he's like he doesn't smoke. And you're eating healthy salad too.
Yeah.
And you're already like a small guy, like you're a skinny guy. Like I mean, everyone's skinny to me, but like I was like, okay, he's going through some changes in his life, or you're trying to build yourself to be better. Basically, I could tell that from you. Like
yeah.
And I was like, okay, like let me learn about it and like what he's went through and what he's doing now. So, and you told me you drink wine, and I was like, yeah, man, like I can change from weed to wine, like so.
Yeah, I love wine. I'll tell you that. Like it's definitely a positive influence in my life is wine.
Yeah, you're talking about the sangria song I saw. So.
I would say like what's cool. What we were talking about earlier.
I mean, we got to go back to a lot of things.
Yeah, we do. We do.
All right.
I want to expand on a lot of stuff.
All right. So let's expand on your project.
Yes.
Which is
Alone in a Room Full of People is the working title right now. It's what I'm working on. And what's cool for me about what I told you about, that French existentialist is Jean-Paul Sartre and the way he meant hell is other people, and having this be alone in a room full of people is like the way that like it's going to go through. In my mind, I haven't, like I said, written any music, but in my mind, I've structured it out to go through 3 interpretations of Alone in a Room Full of People, from like the nihilistic, existentialist, and then absurdist. And that's like sort of like that's the narrative of the character, is going from like this nihilistic state where you interpret alone in a room full of people as like you can't connect to a goddamn person. Everything is terrible. Like there's no meaning to anything. It's all hardship and
futile. That's what you're saying. Futile. It's in the Bible. I remember that word a lot.
Yeah. And then it goes into like this existentialist point where it's like more intuitive, where it's like I am, I guess, trying to understand myself and my place in this world where I'm in a room full of people. And then into the absurdist framework where it's like if you can be alone in a room full of people, with what we were talking about with like the transcendence of transcendence, if you can feel yourself being alone and be truly yourself, connected oneness with the universe while you're with people, that's the most beautiful act of self-love and love for others that you can have, is being yourself in and around others, whatever that takes, whether it's like tough love, romantic love, platonic love, whatever it takes. If you are yourself to your fullest, and if you can be alone in a room full of people
and be yourself,
and then like everyone else is like alone with you and alone together, where it's like you experience that meditative zen.
Ooh.
That's like the absurdist philosophy, like Albert Camus, where it's like the myth of Sisyphus. It's not torture to push the boulder up the hill, because you get to push a boulder up a hill every day. It's fun.
You're alive. You're grateful. Like you're grateful to be alive. Like dang, I didn't know you were that into like all that stuff. Like, what got you into just reading about philosophies?
My boy, specifically my boy Paul Tresco. He's the fucking man. I love this man. We used to trade. Like it was like
Pokemon cards?
No, way nerdier than that. It was like he would give me, Plato's Republic, and I'd give him Aristotle's Rhetoric, and we would just trade off.
How old were y'all when y'all doing that?
Fucking stupid young for being this nerdy. We were like 16 or 17.
That's so cool.
And we would just, we had this. It was really fun. I love this guy so much.
What is he doing now?
He is an electrician in New York. He is fucking amazing and the smartest guy there. New York City, yeah.
Okay.
He has a house a condo in Manhattan. And
so he's not just an electrician. He's probably doing some big things.
He does big things. He was, a couple of years ago, he was going to go to Japan, and he was going to be like an electrical engineer for like a big tech company there. But he decided not to do that because he just he had other things. I guess he just didn't want to be too far away, and a lot of other stuff too. But like he's the man. So like we would always just like trade philosophy books, and it was just really. And I actually met him through Daniel Kyer. So Daniel Kyer introduced us. So it was like a good network of like armchair philosophers that could just like talk about like concepts. Me and Paul had this fun game that we would play, where it'd be like we would go. He had a car. I didn't at the time. So he had a license and a car. So we would just go on drives. Our rule was we can't go on the interstate and we can't take a road that we know. And we would just drive for hours talking about, music that we liked.
What were y'all listening to? What was like the main album y'all listened to when y'all did
Porcupine Trees, The Incident.
Never heard of this band. Okay.
It's Steven Wilson. Do you know Steven Wilson? He's like a kind of a progressive metal. I guess you could call it metal, but he's like mainly just more progressive rock, just very conceptualized music. And we would just sit there and we would talk about, efforts and meanings and conscious decisions artists would make to help their art. And then we would talk about cool philosophy, and we would talk about, like circuit bending, speaking spells and shit, like weird shit like that. It was cool. I love this man so much. Thinking about him just makes me happy. Like,
how were y'all doing that again? How old were y'all?
We were like 16, 17.
What?
Like it was a lot of fun. I wish and this is like just this is on me completely, but like I have not necessarily an anxiety about technology, but I'll like see someone has like messaged me or like texted me or Snapchatted me or Facebooked or whatever, and I'll look at it and I'll be like at work or like doing something else, like cleaning the bathroom or whatever, and I like will look at it, I'll read it, and then I just will forget to respond. Paul messages me like once a week, and I always ignore him, not intentionally, and I love this man so much. I should
He gives
not.
you like 10 paragraphs?
No, he'll
okay.
send me like he's also like really into bodybuilding, so like he'll like show me like his progress of like he'll send me the pictures. He'll send me a Snapchat of his thigh. It's so funny. It'll be like his thigh, and he'd be like, "Dude, check out the progress, dude. I just squatted 350," and you know, it's like I got this new tattoo, and it'll be his bare naked ass.
Damn.
I love this guy. He's amazing. I love this guy.
Okay. All right, so y'all riding around listening to, was it Porcupine?
Porcupine Tree, the brainchild of Steven Wilson.
Okay, Steven Wilson.
Prog music, very, very progressive, very conceptual. It's like if you took Pink Floyd and it met Radiohead, but if Radiohead had less social skills than it already doesn't have, you'd have Porcupine Tree.
What's your favorite Radiohead song?
Song?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I know it's hard. Just like it just comes in my head every time like someone talks to me about Radiohead. I like Fake Plastic Trees.
That's a great song.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's a great song.
If that tells you anything about me, that's all. Yeah.
I like the Bins. That album gets hated on unnecessarily. I think it's a great album.
Man, so growing up,
go ahead.
I was gonna say growing up, like, what was like your top 3 favorite bands like growing up?
So we mentioned Pink Floyd. Radiohead was obviously huge for me, and it was Bob Dylan. You know, I guess that was the top 3. But my favorite Radiohead song, I think I actually do have 1 or 2. Actually, I have. It's the 3 I think most sad Radiohead songs.
Okay,
which is How to Disappear Completely off Kid A. I love that song. That song actually helped me in a very depressed spot in my life where it was like I felt connected to.
Why were you depressed?
I was a teenager, and I was like kind of.
Basically,
there you go. I was a teenager. Hormones were happening. Like obviously, situations with my parents were difficult. Okay. I felt isolated, alone. I felt like I wasn't in tune with my emotions at all, so I felt depressed.
Yeah.
The fact that someone could write a song about wanting to disappear completely, like I connected with Tom York. Yeah, like, it was. Yeah. It made it like kind of saved my life in a lot of ways, and I know Tom York, just off interviews that I've seen him do or like read, he's like hates people that like his music. But if I ever saw Tom York, I would just like thank him for helping my life be easier with these sad ass songs, including
sad music.
Yeah, Videotape, another one off In Rainbows, helped me in a similar spot, and then True Love Waits, I just think is a beautiful, longing piece of music.
So we could talk about music for days. Let's just go back to your album. Go back to your project. Yeah.
Yeah. So, because the concept is like you're at a party and you keep disassociating, it's like helping or like, I guess, hindering your ability to like connect with people. And the whole album is about social interaction and like how we need it as people, I guess. But you keep zoning out, and it's hard for you to do that. The way I'm going to sort of try and articulate that concept is that I've been interviewing quote unquote interviewing friends and stuff. Like we pretty much been just like opening a glass of wine. I put a little field recorder and we just have conversations. And I've been my hope is that I can cut up these conversations and it can create this environment, this ambience of like you're actually at a party, and it'll be very like Dark Side of the Moon or To Pimp a Butterfly style.
Fuck yeah.
Where there's like these voices that like help progress the narrative, but are also like in their own way just a sound element within the design of the music, you know. Which is very Pink Floyd, which I like.
How many people have you interviewed yet already?
Let's see. Let me see if I can name them all. Holly Heaton. Is a friend of mine. She moved to Charleston from Columbia. She was in Thailand when COVID happened, so she had to move back to the States, and then we got a place in Charleston. It was really cool connecting with her again. She's amazing. Cole Collins, a musician here in Charleston. I've interviewed I haven't done very many, so it's I want to have like 80. I have a lot of people like on a list that I need to interview. I've interviewed my sister Caroline, who's probably one of my favorite people. I've interviewed
That's cool. Your sister's one of your favorite people.
Yeah, I love my sister. We're super
Me and my
close.
sister, like, we can't sit in a room without like arguing. I don't know how like it works for y'all, but okay.
I don't know, something about just who we are and how we grew up. We're just very close. It's cool. I appreciate that about her. And then Mia. Do you know Mia, the photographer around here?
No.
She's cool as fuck. She was really interesting to talk to, but I felt like I enjoyed the conversation that we had, but I felt like I was dominating the conversation because she's a very introspective person. So I was like talking a bunch.
And
I was trying to get.
She was like taking it all in.
Yeah, she was like vibing, but I was like trying to get her to talk more, and she said a bunch of really cool stuff, and like I think she's a really cool person, and I was glad that she was helping me out with this thing. But
like, I got a question.
Yeah, what's up?
When you talk to these people, I don't know, this is going to deal with relationships and like girls, but like I want to find a woman who, like, I talk in questions. Like I can like bring a million questions out of me, and I just want someone who can like ask me a question back. And like, how do you feel about like just, I don't know, finding people like that who like want to ask you questions? Like, do you deal with people that like kind of just want to talk about themselves a lot, or like?
Yeah, and none of the people that I mentioned before have been like, I guess like.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I'm looking for currently right now is like people that talk about themselves and can like go on elaborate
because you need
rants.
that.
I need that for like specifically. I need that for this piece of art.
You need sound bites, basically.
Yeah. I need the clip. I need the clip. But as far as like relationships more generally, I think the people that I'm most attracted to are people that.
High intelligence is like number one factor for a woman in me.
Yes.
Like
more so than
I want
you
them
could
to be smarter than me. Actually,
yeah.
Like, I tell them that. Like, I give them like the challenge. Like.
Yeah. I you could be the most attractive person, like Maxim number one model or whatever whatever metric that people use, but like you could be the hottest person in the world. If I can't sit down with you and enjoy our conversation, we have like no chemistry conversationally, we can't vibe, and we don't even have to be agreeing on everything or anything at all. If we can just vibe and like learn from each other and grow from each other and like sort of like enjoy our time, that means way more to me than like a 6 set of tits, you know?
Hell yeah.
Like, I mean, not to be crude about it, but like I would I'm more attracted to people's inner than their outer. And I'm not saying that like the outer isn't influential in like my, lizard brain.
We're
just very male.
Lizard brain, yeah, exactly.
But
like,
like
go into that philosophy, just us as humans and men, and like, do you feel like you're a man?
Do I feel like I'm a man? I barely feel like I'm human.
Exactly. Alien almost. Like.
I think it's really cool the shift, the paradigm shift of like people choosing pronouns right now.
I don't understand. My brain doesn't get it, but
I think it's neat because
me,
like people who are like non-binary and they say they would prefer to be they them rather than she her he him.
Yeah,
that's really interesting to me, and it's not like I relate to that not necessarily because I'm non-binary sexually. I definitely identify very masculine, but more so than that, like I would prefer not to be identified at all, if that makes sense.
I get you.
Like I don't want to be male or female. I don't want
just Aaron.
I just want to be, exactly. Yeah. I just want to be like a straight up a part of existence, a part of reality, and that's like the goal for me is to sort of like break down all titular identity and just be straight up
word.
Titular, like having a title, so like being a man, being Aaron, being a dude.
Okay.
Like
being a bro.
Yeah, being a straight up bro, dude. Kappa sick, dude.
I'm gonna ask you one of the deep questions. Like, what's the point of existing then?
Shit, man. You want to get into it? You want to get into it?
You want to pour me some more wine?
Hell yeah, I'll pour you some more wine. We need to drink for this one. Yeah. So I mentioned a couple of names recently. In this conversation, I mentioned Jean-Paul Sartre, the existentialist, Albert Camus.
Say it again.
Jean-Paul Sartre?
No.
Albert Camus?
Have you heard of Rene Descartes?
Yes, Rene Descartes. I exist, therefore I am. Yeah. He's cool. I wish the church didn't influence him so much because he couldn't say what he was saying.
I read his whole article how he proved God, and I thought that was cool when I was young. But
the reason he wrote that was not because that's something he felt philosophically.
He was influenced.
Yeah, he's he didn't want to get burned at the stake. You know,
I get you.
That's where it's I exist before, therefore I am is very much not a theological doctrine. Or notion, you know,
okay.
It's very much.
Hey, that's new for me. So that's cool.
But
say the names again.
Albert Camus, Jean-Paul Sartre, and Friedrich Nietzsche. And I don't fuck with Nietzsche.
Yeah, isn't Nietzsche?
He's the nihilist. He's the big mustache motherfucker.
Yeah.
So
right about in history, yeah.
These three philosophers are kind of like what I mentioned about the progression of the story of that album. That's the progression of my personal interpretations of philosophy. So it's the nihilistic perspective. When I was a kid, I thought Nietzsche was super dope. It was what nihilism is like.
Explain nihilism for people, yeah.
This is going to be a very butchered.
Yeah, it's fine.
But I butchered every other philosophical description that I had so far. But nihilism, I guess, in a sense, is there's no inherent meaning in the universe. So what that means is it's chaos. There is no reason that you're here, no reason that I'm here, and that's just the nature of reality. Is a divine accident, not necessarily God given, but
it goes in
it's
purpose.
There's not necessarily a purpose to you being here. There's no purpose to existence at all other than that you have it.
Yeah.
And then the existentialist point of view is there is no reason that you're here, and this goes into existentialism and absurdism, which sort of are partners in philosophy. I really like Albert Camus in his interpretation of it. So it's there's no reason that you exist. There's absolutely no reason that you exist, that I exist. There's no reason for the universe at all.
For me to
but here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Here's why Albert Camus is so cool. Is there's no reason you exist. Therefore, you can apply your own meaning to your own existence. That's absurdism. Is the absurdist doctrine is that it's there is no meaning. So I'm gonna apply meaning because I cognitively I can choose to have meaning in my life where I want meaning to be. I can place my meaning, my intent, and my passion into things that give meaning to me and to others around the world, hopefully. But that's where absurdism and existentialism comes in, and that's why those philosophers, Albert Camus and Jean-Paul Sartre, Jean Baudrillard too, in a way, but
how do you have
abstractly.
such good memory, by the way? Remembering all this stuff.
Dude, I have the worst memory.
Really?
Yeah, I have the absolute worst, because Holly, my friend that I mentioned earlier that I did one of the interviews with, she was telling me all these stories about fun times we've had, and I couldn't remember a damn one of them. And it was I only remember the nerdy bullshit stuff. Why can't I remember having fun with my friends?
Well, these
matters.
philosophies, did you learn about them before you were 18, right?
I got into philosophy before I was 18. I was into Nietzsche before I was 18.
So I guess that's stuff that's stuck in your brain almost. That, you're not gonna forget that stuff.
Yeah.
But the no exit thing. Yeah. By you just read that last year, right?
Yeah, I read that in 2020 during quarantine, and that's what kind of inspired this whole effort to just sort of understand my place as a social being as a social animal, which we are.
Yeah.
And having anxiety is almost sort of like a bullet in the foot. Why are you shooting yourself having anxiety? But it's something that I know a lot of other people have experienced, and it's
how bad's your anxiety?
Sometimes, depending on the situation.
Attacks?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Sometimes I will, if someone invites me over, and then I guess this is pre-COVID era, but someone would invite me to a party or something, and I would go, and I would sit there in the parking lot in my car with no radio, no nothing on, just AC blasting, just white noise, and I would sit there, and it'd be so my stomach's turning, I can't go in the room, and I would just end up putting in reverse and going home because I just could not imagine myself. But now I'm on Zoloft, so shit's easier now.
This is we're sponsored by Zoloft. Is there any side effects from Zoloft?
Mad shits, bro.
Mad shits.
Mad
okay,
shits. Like Zoloft should change their slogan to "You can't be depressed if you're trying to find a toilet." Like, I swear to God.
Yeah.
Like I think I don't know exactly why that's a side effect. I think it's because it produces serotonin, and because a lot of serotonin in the body
most of your whole like.
Oh shit! I just spilled shit.
Your brain. I got some napkins that we can like.
Nice.
We'll pause.
You can keep talking, and if you want to reiterate, I enjoy this.
Yeah. So most of like your brain activity is from your gut. So maybe when you like it's when the chemicals are in your gut, basically.
Exactly. That's my hunch.
That's why food, everything is so important. Like everything, it starts with your gut. Like weight loss. To tell you a little bit about myself.
Yeah, for sure.
I just lost 50 pounds.
Congratulations, bro. Cheers to that, man. Hell yeah, dude. Bring it in.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I lost it all in a day. I just it took me 6 months, and it was kind of like influenced by my boss. He's kind of challenging me, and the reward was $5,000.
Whoa.
And I won $5,000.
Dude, congratulations. That's so sick, bro.
Yeah.
You did it, man.
Yeah, I did it. It was hard. It was hard, but
that's a good guy though, challenging you to be better. That's fucking sick.
Yeah, Sean Lauer, he's gonna listen to this. I know he followed you.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did. That was cool.
Yeah, he's been a big influence in my life. He's a total different mindset than what I've been like known and accustomed to. He's just like always happy, always positive, and always like a go-getter, and he doesn't see negatives in anything. And I'm the total opposite. So like he's probably never gonna have anxiety in his life. He's just that type of guy. It's an interesting thing. But anxiety, like, where do you think anxiety started from?
I think I've read a lot about it because I've suffered from it from like a young age, and like I wanted to know why I was feeling this way, and like there's like the philosophical, like pseudoscience explanations where it's like not even pseudoscience. It's like a
root. There's a root cause to it, but yeah, it's hard to find.
Yeah, it's like there's like the biological mechanism of self-preservation. So if you're anxious about a certain event, it's because you are interpreting like something bad happening. Yeah. Exactly, like you're. It's like the same, I guess, biological cause of nightmares.
Yeah,
is like you have nightmares because your brain is trying to prepare you for like potentially dangerous situations and how you would react, and so you can interpret that in wakefulness. Is a theory. I don't know if that's true or not, but like it's the same thing with like anxiety. I think, and my anxiety I have no idea. I haven't been able to trace it back to a single location or anything like that. Like,
you've been embarrassed at a party or something like anything bad happened? Like,
I mean, you know,
did you like shit your pants and you couldn't like get to the bathroom in time?
That's my biggest fear in life. I'll tell you that. Like especially being a musician on stage all the time,
especially being on Zoloft, probably. Right?
Yeah. It's no, I have a huge fear of embarrassing myself in social situations. So it makes you kind of come off in a weird way. Like,
are you good at making fun of yourself?
Yeah, I like self-deprecating humor.
It took me like the past 3 years to learn to do that to myself because I took everything so seriously. I mean, I grew up like fat jokes all the time, like, and then I just like learned to make fun of myself. It took the fun out of it for them, and also just stop taking myself so serious.
Yes,
too. Yeah,
that's really important. I think what you just said about like if you disarm others. So it's like the thing I always tell myself, if you make fun of yourself for something stupid that you did first, anytime anyone else does it, it's just a remix and there's nothing as good as the original, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, I think there is some power in like knowing your personal flaws and like being able to acknowledge them, because other people may or may not acknowledge, if it's a serious, like if you like, I guess, or a chronic pants shitter.
Yeah. Like,
if you're a chronic pants shitter and you just like make fun of yourself for shitting your pants,
yeah, man.
Like that's gonna like let people know that like, all right, this dude knows he can't really help it, but like he's cool. He like he's
the way
down
you
with
explained it, like I'd probably hang out with a guy who's a chronic pants shitter and he just like says I just shit my pants. I'm like, I understand. Like if you like make fun of yourself for doing it, like it's fine.
And then like even like. You know, with health stuff, there's like people with like IBS and stuff, and sometimes they can't control that kind of shit. So you just got to be more sensitive to people's like, you know,
how sensitive are you as a person? How emotional are you? When's the last time you cried?
Well, let me tell you. I just me and my ex-girlfriend just broke up.
That's a weird thing to say, right?
Yeah, it is. I almost said me and my girlfriend just broke up, but it's not. It's, you know, and that was hard. I cried for hours.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I was on the phone with her. I mean, because and it sucks to break up with someone over the phone. I'm not proud that was how it had to happen.
Yeah.
But we are a long distance relationship, and that's how we do most of our communication is through the phone.
I respect you for even doing that long distance. How long were y'all long distance?
So we started dating December of 2019, and then into 2020, COVID happened.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
y'all dated right before COVID.
Yeah, and through COVID, oh man, like a year in COVID, I feel like we probably dated for 5 years. That's what it feels like being a COVID relationship. But
COVID relationships, like statistically, a lot of people actually, divorces are high and just breakups are high because of COVID. COVID made people want to break. I don't know why.
Yeah. Well, it's like you don't have a lot of outlets to like, and that's like people need space and alone time.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that from even like people that you love the most, it's like it's gonna put tension on the relationship, I think.
So that relationship was a year and like I don't know. I don't want to do the check like 3 months.
Yeah, a year and change. You know, we were dating for a year and but we were like hooking up and
before that.
So I like to say that it was probably like a year and a half, year and 7.
What's your longest relationship ever?
Probably that one.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't had a lot of long term.
Okay. Are you? We both grew up in the hookup culture. Tinder.
Yeah, exactly.
You were on Tinder, like in the young days, like when you were 21 and all that.
It was, dude. Tinder is so funny. I don't understand its algorithm, but I just don't have any luck with it at all.
I'm not getting luck anymore. I think what they're doing is they want you to pay
exactly, and it's
to
bullshit.
actually get matches, like because you don't get matches like that anymore. But Tinder. Are you on Tinder right now?
I am not.
That's good. You're trying to take a break from women and like. You be like your own little self for a little bit.
That is the healthy decision, I think.
I think it is, yeah.
Like kind of like kind of just taking like because
you love this girl, right? Like
yeah, absolutely.
You can admit it, yeah.
I mean, I love her, but I hope she doesn't watch this, but I love her so much, I really do. And
we
that's
can talk about Talons. Like you made that album, that was about her, right?
A lot of those songs were about her, and like Winter Fires specifically is about her. Like she has red hair. The opening line in that song is "Penny for your thoughts." I'm a fan of
redheads. Like I have a fetish for redheads. I never had to be able to date one. But anyways, yeah, keep going.
You'll find that foxy mama.
Thank you, Aaron.
You'll find that foxy mama for you. But like the opening line in that song is "Penny for your thoughts. I really miss your copper tones." Mm-hmm. And it's like her. She had moved back to Columbia in April of 2020.
From where?
From here. She lives in Charleston.
Oh, so you were seeing her in Charleston.
Yeah.
You met her in Charleston.
Well, we'd known each other for a long time.
Okay,
we actually dated back in the day, like when we were both in college.
Oh, okay.
So then we got back together in 2019. And it's a funny situation. Not funny at all. It's actually a terrible situation.
Dated back in the day, did y'all catch feelings? And y'all like broke it up? Like how long? Like how much? Like how much? We dated for
we dated for like 6 months. It was a very college relationship.
Okay.
In my opinion, I think she might have different things, but I think we were dating.
Men catch feelings faster than women. I think. I just in general.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
And in my experience, but like we dated not for very long, and it was kind of just like a fling.
Where did you go to college?
Midlands Tech.
Midlands. Okay. Got you. Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't like I didn't go to like USC or any like prestigious
spend
universities.
All the money for that. College, like I went to college, got a media arts degree, minored in business, but like it took me like 4-5 years actually after I failed the drug test to actually get something in my career. Like
that shit's hard, man.
And it's hard. The degree's not worth the money. It really isn't. So
I don't know. I mean, if you're satisfied with the work, I guess that's completely interpersonal.
Well, now, it taught me the things where I'm at now. But I don't know.
I feel this way for. So like my buddy Daniel Kai that I mentioned earlier, like being a video editor, he didn't go to college at all. He just was like YouTube, passionate about, and then like he just made it happen.
LA for it.
Yeah. He got a really good job, and Ryan McGee is still out there, making cool shit.
Yeah. But yeah, back to her and like, so she moved back to Columbia. Why did she move back to Columbia?
She was hard for. So the reason we got back together, or
You
even
talking about
like
rent? Rent was hard. Like living here. Like,
it's real hard.
We'll talk about that.
Well,
okay.
yeah, that shit is tough, B. Let me
Yeah.
tell you right now, not a fan of Charleston rent. There
Yeah,
should be
man.
rent ceiling, nationwide rent ceiling, $800.
Oh my
Fucking fuck with it,
gosh,
dude.
Like,
That would be so
they're
good.
just trying to run everyone out in Charleston. Only rich people can live
Yeah,
here.
well,
like,
I mean, gentrification of just like I mean,
gentrification's huge.
yeah, I mean, even in I live in North Charleston.
Yeah, which is
And-
most people live in Charleston. They live in North Charleston. It's the most populated area.
Yeah, but like that's
Near Dorchester Road.
I live near the Air Force Base. I live in the Midland Park neighborhood, off Hanahan in Hanahan.
Hey, I grew up in Hannah when I was young.
Yeah. And I mean, I like that neighborhood. My neighbors are sick. Like they're I live in a duplex, and my next door neighbor is like this family, and like they have this like 3-year-old daughter, and she just got a little puppy, and she's like
Aw.
she's so sweet. She'll like run up to my window. I'll be like on the couch, and she'll like bang on the window. And she's like, "Look at my puppy! His name's Sheba."
Sheba, okay.
Sheba, yeah, and like. She's so sweet. And her birthday was the other day, and she came in and she banged on my window. It was like,
Oh my
"It's my birthday!"
Oh my god!
And then I found the only candy that me and my roommate had in the house, and I was like, "Happy birthday!" It was like Easter candy or some shit like that. It was sweet.
It's
I
you
like
live
her
with
a
you
lot.
and your sister, right?
No, my sister and I are about to move into a house because she lives downtown because she's still in college.
Okay.
I live with a coworker.
Okay.
He's been a carpenter for twice as long as I have. He's an insane builder. He's very intuitive.
Yeah.
With construction, and he's a big man.
So you're about
Big
to move in with
Mikey.
your sister.
Yeah, I'm
Downtown?
no, I can't afford downtown.
I'm about to say,
Come on now.
I'm about to say,
What are we
like-
talking about? We're talking about rent
Yeah,
hikes. I West Ashley is even too expensive for me, but I couldn't live in a place by myself, so luckily me and my sister are finding a place in West Ashley.
yeah. I
Splitting
found
rent.
this place off Craigslist.
Oh yeah?
Found it off Craigslist. I was living with my brother and his boyfriend for like 2 years in West Ashley, basically.
Nice.
And we split rent 3 ways, so I was doing fine. Splitting rent 3 ways, and then
That's doable. That's like if you have a $1,500 rent, that's
Yeah.
$500 each. That's easy.
it was like
relatively.
1,000 or something, or 1,100. So 3 ways, like I was,
Oh, boy, hell yeah.
yeah.
Hell
So I found this place off Craigslist, and I don't know, I'm just grateful. Like I knew I couldn't do roommates again. The dream is to live by yourself, but now I'm kind of thinking like, I don't know, it gets lonely sometimes. So,
I feel that.
but I don't know, it's the pros and cons. But yeah.
I definitely living with, because me and my sister's so close, living with her would kind of be like living alone, because like we grew up together and we're like comfortable with each other enough.
Now you're gonna be
Living-
like around the college lifestyle though, like
Yeah, I mean she's graduating in like a few months, which I'm
okay,
super
gotcha.
proud of her.
okay, hell yeah.
But like I'll go hang out with her and her friends, like at her house, just like grabbing a drink on a Friday night or
Yeah.
whatever. And it's super strange. I feel like such an old man. Because like
Yeah.
I get sleepy. I like fall asleep on their couch at like 10 p.m.
Yeah.
And they're like just getting started, getting
Yep.
into a rager. And I'm just like, oh man, you guys like, you guys keep it down in there.
yeah, I got you.
I'm trying to sleep.
What does she want to be? What's she trying to do?
So my sister is probably one of the more inspirational people in my life, just because of her.
Hell yeah! I mean, this
Yeah,
is cool. Yeah, inspiration.
dude,
Yeah.
yeah. She's super intelligent. Probably one of the smartest people I know. So she's super smart. She's passionate about her field of interest, and she's committed to those interests and like changing the world through them. She's a poli sci major at CFC honors, and she's using that knowledge that she's all the knowledge that she's accumulated to like, just help spread knowledge like through education, which is what I wanted to do when I was going to college.
Is there like a subject in politics she's like most like interested in?
She really likes obviously like equity, equality,
Okay.
women's rights, minority rights, if that's the right nomenclature. I think it is. LGBTQ rights, because she's a lesbian.
Okay. Yeah.
So like she's really she's really into like being able to be viewed as an equal in society, which she shouldn't have to struggle for.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
She's literally going to school to fight to like put herself in a position
Of
like,
equality. Literally, yeah. It's like it's so dumb that it's
like when she
it's
talks to
terrible.
someone, she has to say like I have a college degree, so I know what I'm talking about. Instead of just being a man could just be a man, and they just assume they have knowledge. Like she has to
Yeah.
like get credentials and
Yeah, which is that whole like patriarchal thing.
Yeah.
And that's another reason I appreciate my sister is because she like informs me a lot of these things, and I can like make better decisions based off of the information that I'm been given through her, which is great.
Do you ever like consider yourself like an ignorant person at like one point in your life, like to certain things, like?
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's still tons of stuff I'm ignorant to.
Like
I try
what?
Well, I'll say before I say that, I'll say that I'm constantly learning and trying to be the kindest, most loving, and equitable person I can be.
You have a mean streak sometimes?
I do not.
Oh, okay.
But
passive aggressive streak?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I'm striving to be that person. I understand intuitively that I will still make mistakes. I was raised as a white man in the South. You know?
Yeah.
There are things that I have to unlearn.
Was your parents a little racist?
My mother is the kindest. My mother was like.
I was raised by a white family. Like, yeah, I know it. I know. Yeah.
My mom was like straight up like in the civil rights movement. She was like getting bricks thrown at her by the KKK and shit like that. She was fighting for equality back in like the 60s.
Old Mama Reece.
Yeah, old Mama Lipham. Hell yeah.
Okay,
Phyllis,
gotcha.
shit. Yeah, I love my mom. But then my dad's side of the family, and blood is thicker than water, so it's really hard for me to distance myself from my family. I still love my Nana and my Papa.
Yeah.
My Nana, her mind is going. She's got dementia now, like Alzheimer's. I guess I should say. And like as her mind is going, her filter is going. So she says a lot of really mean things.
I can imagine.
So like I really, my family is like my immediate family. Like all my brothers, all my sisters, my mother, even my dad. We're all like pretty.
Like we'll talk about you were raised in South Carolina as a Christian, as a Southern Christian. Baptist, a Methodist, what? Presbyterian.
You work your sins away, you know, that kind of vibe.
Okay. Because that makes a difference too. I was raised Southern Baptist, like just straight up, like
Southern Baptist, religion, good gospel music.
Yeah,
that's where that good gospel comes from. The Southern Baptist churches.
Like religion. When did you like stray away? Well, I'm still. I mean, we can get into this, but I'm still. I say I'm a Christian. Like I was raised to kind of like if you like admit that if you like ashamed to say it, like you almost go to hell too.
Yeah, if you should be proud to be a Christian.
Yeah,
in the Christian philosophy.
Yeah, so I still say it, and I still am. It's just I don't think the church is where you find your spirituality, and also just like growing up, you just realize more. Like it was just like a system to kind of like control people, control their money,
exactly.
And just also just like
and that's what distanced me from theological religion in general. When I was younger,
that's what I've been thinking about lately. Yeah,
because I feel like this is my personal view of reality.
Yeah,
it's just I feel like everyone gets to see one side of truth, and the truth is a 7 billion sided die, and you can look at the truth and that's the truth, but your truth is adjacent to someone else's truth. You know what I'm saying? So like it's complicated because like every religion might have a nugget of truth. Like, you know, the Buddhists might be like, you know, surrender attachment and become one with the self, or like the Taoists might be like there's a natural flow of existence that grows through you and through you.
Yeah.
And then like the,
so it seems
Christians
like you're learning from a lot of other religions to try to like get nuggets from them right now.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what everyone should be doing. They shouldn't just accept one thing that they grew up with as a truth.
Yeah.
And whether my sister struggled with this more than I did because she was struggling with sexuality for a long time.
And I could just go, I'll let you go into her story. But my brother, he was raised in the church, and he came out as gay, and they kicked him out of the church. So
so that's really hard for a lot of people. Like going back to what Susto, you know, Justin Osborne, "Gay in the South." That's a great song. It's one of my sister's favorite Susto songs because it's like that song means a lot. You know,
is Justin gay?
Justin's not gay. He has a wife and a kid. But he obviously he's a compassionate enough person where he can witness those kind of. I don't know Justin personally. I know Reece, his guitar player. I know Van's my boy. He's nebulously connected to Susto, and then the Babe Club, Babes.
Yeah, I've seen them on Instagram. They go pretty hard on their content.
They get after it. You know, Charlize Fairweather. That's fun.
Local bands like, jeez. Oh, okay, like All Get Out.
Oh, all get out. Hell yeah.
Nathan Hussey, they were one of my like inspirations, like growing up, and because he's from Sumter too, and just that, and then Valley Maker.
Valley Maker makes the most beautiful music. The most beautiful music. Austin Crane, dude. So good.
How old is he in art? No, he's a little bit older, but
he's a little bit older than us.
He went to USC, and that's when he made his like first little album. Was when he was in the music program at USC. I know that.
I didn't know that. That's great.
Yeah, that's where he made his first album. Was like when it was USC. It was just like thesis project.
That's cool as fuck.
But I don't know. Like we're going on tangents here, but let's go to your. Anyways, love Valley Maker. We'll talk about them later. But your sister, like being raised in the South as gay in religion.
We were talking about. She had a harder time with religion than I did because like she is much closer with my mother, and I'm close with my mom. I don't want to like give the implication that me and my mom don't talk all the time, but. My mom is very Christian.
Yeah.
Like, not to a fault or anything. That's just who she is. And it's very loving, the way she interprets Christian and Jesus' words. And she's good about it. But, like, my sister is so close with my mom that when she was discovering herself and understanding her sexual orientation, there was such a cognitive dissonance between, like, if I'm a Christian, am I initially sinful for just existing and being attracted to the people that I'm attracted to.
Yeah.
For me personally, it was like I didn't have to deal with any of that sort of like getting away from religion. It was just like I just was reading, you know,
you were learning.
I was
too much.
Yeah, I was reading philosophies with my boys and driving around listening to prog rock and smoking weed with my other friends and we were just talking about some like cool stuff and like theology, just like Christianity didn't like resonate with me as much because I felt like you mentioned, it is a control mechanism throughout history for people to like, you know, there's a reason Martin Luther put those 93 theses on the fucking doors because the church was corrupt and has been corrupt for a long time.
Yeah.
And
some people say that's the first tweet ever.
That's good. I like that. That's fucking hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool as fuck. It's 93 characters, you know, it fits.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But so like I feel like people like my sister and maybe like your brother. I don't want to speak on his behalf because I don't know him, or even my sister. But like she's told me enough about I know her situation. But like being raised Christian in the South and not being sort of the homogenous cog in the wheel of the culture of the South is difficult. And going back to what we were saying about like I would not consider myself a mean-spirited or ignorant person. You asked what sparked this was like, is there something I'm ignorant about?
Yeah.
And there are things that I'm ignorant about, and that goes back to trying to learn to be patient and understanding. And you got to do that with yourself as well. If there's things you don't understand, you got to be like emotionally available enough to like hear someone else out. If they're telling you that they're going through hardship, you can't tell them that they're not. You know,
that's
So like, not that I've ever done that. Like I try to be a good person, but I understand that I'm also a human being and I am not perfect. I'm not anything at all. So like, other than a dude, straight up a dude. I like wine. I play guitar. It's sick. But like, I'm a dude, and you know, we make mistakes. Especially dudes.
Especially dudes. Women make no mistakes.
Yeah, so. I mean, women are, you know, the fair sex and the more. I killed it. I hope that's okay.
I got champagne.
Champagne.
I think it's hitting me now. But I got champagne. I got some red apple cider.
Nice.
But yeah, we're good. We're gonna be good.
Well, all I mean to say is that like when you asked that question, I feel like I answered it in a way that implied that I was a cruel bastard.
Okay, I got you.
That's not what I intended to say.
Yeah.
Is I understand that I have flaws and I'm not.
You're not perfect.
I'm not an
You're not Jesus.
I'm not Jesus. I'm not an encyclopedia
of
of everything. I admit there are plenty of things that I still need to learn.
Yeah.
That's where ignorance comes in. Not that I am inherently attached to ignorant philosophies. When there's introduced to new information, I do let it. I meditate on it and I resonate with it, so like I'm not making cruel decisions.
Yeah, okay.
But there's not, I think, not in recent history a point where I've been ignorant to a point where it's like harmful to other people. Ignorant only to mean that I don't know all things.
So I see that you're trying to like like we went into this topic too. You're trying to better yourself. What are other ways you're trying to better yourself right now?
So, I definitely think of the layers of reality. There's mind, body, and soul, in a lot of ways. So there's like I try to stay read on as much like variety of literature and essays that I can, like reading stuff that I just like I would not initially be like resonate with. Like there's this economist, South African economist. His name's Achille Mbembe. He wrote Necropolitics, which is I'm reading right now, which is a play on words of John Foucault's Biopolitics, which is like, whereas like I'm just trying to read that just so I can understand what the hell that means.
Fuck, I don't know any of these things. Okay.
Like, and then like body, I do my best to do yoga every day.
Okay.
I try to stretch and like be more open to
Limba.
Yeah, be more open to the shapes that like
Open
reality
your
can.
chakras and
Yeah, shit like that, you know.
Yeah.
And then spirit, I feel like I meditate and I kind of understand my place in the world that way, but also like I feel like the most spiritual thing people can do is just relate to the universe, which goes back to like the socialization and why this album is really important to me. It's because it's very spiritual.
And say the album title again.
Alone in a Room Full of People.
Okay.
So if you can connect with the people around you, connect with the world around you, if you understand that we are one, like, you know, I and I, there's no separation. That's what the Rastafarians say. Yeah. There's no separation between you and I. It's just the ego divides us. And that's healthy. That's not a fault of the biology of the human anatomy. The ego is necessary so we can go through reality.
Have you had an ego death before?
For sure. I used to eat acid all the time, bro. All the time. All the time. Eat acid.
Eat acid.
I used to eat acid like candy, you know? Acid, mushrooms. That kind of
mushrooms.
shit.
I've taken acid. What else have you taken? Tell me all the drugs. Ooh. Coke.
Oh, I used to have a coke problem.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why I can't be around. Well, I can be around it now, but I will not even partake in like. I won't humor the idea of me having coke because I understand
coke,
like.
so.
You've never done coke?
Mm-mm. Oh, I've been around it like one time.
It's mad fun. I don't recommend it, but it's mad fun, bro.
My roommate did it right by me, and I was just like looking at him the whole time. Like I was just like, "What's going on, man?" Like,
I knew I had a problem when I was sneaking off on Thanksgiving dinner at my Nana's house to like just sniff a key bump.
This is real shit right now.
Yeah, it was a hard time, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't do cocaine anymore.
Does this go with like the band lifestyle? Like
yeah, totally. Because like you know. I think a big reason that a lot of artists have drug problems is because a good foot in the door, if you are liking an artist and you want to connect with them, have a conversation with them, it's like, hey man, you want to do some blow?
I get you.
You know, so it's like that. Like they develop problems just because people want to be around them, and they have these enticing substances, which allow them to just like
break down.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, if it was a cool enough artist, they would just be like, hell yeah, man, let's just chill and talk. But like, that's not always the case. You might be exhausted at 2 a.m. after you finish your set.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just want to go back to the, you know, tour bus and crash or like find a hotel room
Tell
or
me
whatever.
Like the craziest like story that involved blow, like a music show, like.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. It was bad. It was a bad time.
No, it was just it was wilder than I would like
to explain.
Like there's a yeah. No, I just don't want to get into it. If that's okay. Like I don't want to be rude or nothing. It's fine, but like I don't like talking about it. There was like just a whole bunch of shit.
Bad memories.
I had a problem with substances. I got over it, and
so
I'm happy that I don't do that.
Moving forward,
bettering the self.
Okay. Well, we could talk about
earlier
the substances that like are good, like mushrooms. Like mushrooms. Tell me your last mushroom trip.
I can't remember the last because I used to do it with such frequency. I didn't really catalog when.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Same with acid and that kind of stuff, like mescaline, all that kind of like psychedelic, psychotropic. Yeah. Anything just of that variety, I just did with such frequency, and that was entirely philosophical. My interpretation with psychedelics was like the spiritual connection, trying to understand the universe, expand consciousness.
Were you trying to find God, basically?
In a way, I knew that God wasn't gonna be found through a
Okay.
trip, but I wanted to understand the place of like Timothy Leary and the expansion of consciousness, and like where that 1960s hippie philosophy towards drug use was coming from. And I thought it had merit because before I really dived into it, I had done it a couple times, and it made it seem like yeah, if you took it with the right intent, not just get fucked up and have fun.
Yeah.
Which is a totally fine way to do drugs if you're a
Get fucked up
responsible.
and have fun, guys. Like,
Yeah, if you're a responsible drug user and you're in an environment which you're comfortable with, there's no reason you can't take acid and just have fun.
Yeah.
You don't have to be Timothy Leary. You don't have to be fucking Robert Hunter. You don't have to be like any of these dudes that are fucking getting after it. You know, you could just have fun. That's fine.
Hunter Thompson, I'm just thinking of Hunter Thompson.
Yeah.
He would eat
Fear and
acid,
Loathing.
Fear and Loathing. Yeah.
That's not like my intent with drugs was very Timothy Leary inspired, and that was just the expansion of consciousness and just trying to understand reality, and its place in my mind and my mind's place in reality, and that's where ego death comes in. It's like you understand that like the nihilistic perspective that we were talking about earlier. It's like nothing matters. Like the universe is literally indifferent to your existence. And then from that, all that like ego death and I didn't recover from it for a long time, and that's one of the reasons that
you had like a bad trip, basically.
Bad. Well, there was some tea. There was some
tea.
some herbal tea that like really got heavy. It was more than a bad trip necessarily. There was
feelings of death involved.
Unrelated to the psychedelic experience, in real life, there was like some shit going down.
Okay.
At like me and my brother Daniel, my oldest brother that I mentioned earlier, used to go up to this little shack in a nameless South Carolina town because we're not going to attach anyone to this.
Okay.
And we would do with our buddy that lived in that.
Someone lived in the shack in the woods.
Someone lived in the box in the woods, and we would go up there, and we would just do acid, and we'd do mushrooms, and we would just hang out. I was in a jam band with this guy at the time. It was cool. It was a really good experience until they started selling drugs out of the shack.
Okay.
And that's when shit got fucking real.
Is this some Breaking Bad shit?
This is some. We're about to get gangster up in this bitch.
Hell yeah, you're gangster, guys.
Nah. But so like my brother was living there. He moved out of my mom's house. He was living with the what's a good pseudonym that I could call this person? Let's call him
a name.
Let's call him.
I don't know why Henry just got to my head. I don't know why.
No, he's more abstract than Henry.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna call him
Elephant Head. I don't know why.
Squid Head.
Squid Head.
I like Squid Head because we'll talk to because squids are really intelligent creatures. So yeah, this is a smart ass motherfucker. I really like this guy. I really appreciate.
Squid Head lives in the shack.
Yeah, Squid Head lives in the shack. I don't want to name him. I'm not trying to be sketchy or anything. Yeah, just there's some implications.
No, this is good.
Legal,
yeah.
Legally.
We're not trying
to
go.
So I'm not trying to indict anybody.
I told Aaron before we started, like anything you don't want to talk about, I was like, if you ever killed anyone, just like don't like admit it.
It's not been that deep. Yeah. I hadn't killed nobody.
Yeah.
But and neither of anyone in this story has not killed anybody. But Squid Head straight up was running a trap house out of this box in the woods. And my brother was living with him, and it was my brother's 21st birthday, actually.
Okay.
And it was his 21st birthday, and me and a couple other friends were up there, and we were just like, tripping with him on his birthday. And the next day, I was at work at the time. Like I was working at a pizzeria. I was just making dough, and I like my phone is blowing the fuck up. Like won't stop vibrating. I get like 3 missed calls from Squid Head, 2 missed calls from Random Thought Girl. Like Daniel called me twice. Yeah. I'm not proud that I called her Random Thought Girl, but that's kind of what she was.
No, I like these names.
And then so I was like, what the fuck's going on? So I walk up to my manager. I was like, I feel like I need to answer these phone calls. I'm just gonna step outside, and I called Squid Head.
Yeah.
and I was like, yo man, is everything okay? And he was like sounded kind of panicked on the phone. He was like, "Yo, dude, yeah." So like everything's fine. There's
That's not fine.
yeah. But at the time, I was like really naive at the time. I just accepted his word as truth. So like he was like, "Everything's fine. Someone broke into the house. Your brother might need to go to the hospital." And I was like, "What? Are you serious?" He's like, "He's fine. Everything's fine. He is okay. He's fine.
He's not dead.
He's not." Yeah, basically what he was telling me, he's alive still.
That's
So basically what had happened was, and this is a wild ass story. I wasn't present for it, so don't think I was involved in any of this gangster ass shit.
Yeah.
But so Squid Boy went to go get breakfast. He left the box in the woods, ventured into town to get breakfast, and then my brother, who was after glowing from a psychedelic experience going into his birthday, was he was woken up straight up just getting pounded on. There was like these, like he described them as like 2 6-foot somethings, like that were just, and my brother's 5'2". He's like 90 pounds. He's a small man.
Are you legit? He's 5'2"?
He's 5'2", yeah. Yeah, he's.
Are you legit? He's 5'2".
If that. He's small, and he's like 90 something pounds. He's a small man. Because like I mean,
come on, they didn't have to beat him up. Anyways, like
no, they did not, and they were like they were looking for money and drugs and to send a message.
Someone was watching that house. They were
exactly.
like planning that shit.
Yeah,
they were scheming that.
So
shit.
like they like I remember going there with Squidhead after like before I even like see my brother or anything. I like got off work early and I went up to that box in the woods, and I remember seeing like the door was busted open off the hinges, so it was like super sketchy, and then like there was like blood on the ceiling.
Blood on the ceiling.
They literally threw my brother around like a fucking rag doll. Because like I said, he's 90 pounds. Like they were looking for money and drugs. They left all the money and drugs, and they were really just trying to send a message. I think, in my mind.
So that Squid Boy, he was in some serious.
Yeah,
shit.
he was in some serious.
He was meeting with some big time players.
Yeah, there was some. That's why I wanted to give him a pseudonym, just in case anything gets around to it.
So yeah, he was messing with some real time.
No, it's some real time shit. So like that happened, and then like that's like I this whole time the Squidhead is like telling me everything that happened. Like it was like he went to go get breakfast. This is Squidhead's perspective of the story that I've heard. I haven't heard my brother's perspective because he was basically beaten unconscious.
Yeah, he doesn't probably.
So he doesn't know what happened really.
Yeah.
So like according to Squidhead, like he went to go get breakfast. He comes home, and like the door is busted open, and Daniel's like lying on the floor with his like fucking jaw broken, basically, and he like he's like,
and all that dude could tell, he was like, he's fine.
Yeah, well, he wasn't trying to make me worry. He knew that my brother was still alive, and he's fine to this day. Like he's okay. Like I'm sure he's like a little more anxious about where he lives and like who he spends time with. We still hang out with Squidhead, and like he's a good guy. Like he got into some shit, and we don't judge him for that at all. Like
I feel you.
So the story I heard was like Squidhead was so associated with affiliated, I guess I should say. With that shit that like before he even got to the house and saw my brother on the floor laying there just unconscious pretty much, like he saw the door was busted open and there was a mysterious car parked out front, so he calls his boys and he was like, yo, there's some shit going down, get to my house ASAP. And they're like, yo, we got you. They come rolling up like there was a fucking like
they brought the gats basically.
It was like a straight up like caravan of people like
when it's time to roll, it's time to roll.
Yeah, they were yelling into the door. It's like, you better get the fuck out of here, boys. And then
it's okay.
Yeah. They were like, just like letting their presence be known that they had backup. And then the two motherfuckers that broke into the house fled the scene and just left their car there. And like,
ooh, interesting.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy. They were just dumb motherfuckers.
Did they run because
shit got real? They didn't mean to beat the shit out of like the life out of my brother.
Dude,
yeah,
basically.
Yeah, because they
almost killed your brother, basically.
Yeah, they thought it was like some hard gangster, and it was like my brother who was just a trippy hippie. Like, it was like the most peaceful, innocent motherfucker of all time.
Yeah, they thought this was some movie, and then once they did it to this guy, and they saw your brother on the floor, they're like,
unconscious, pretty much, his blood on the ceiling. I feel like they
this
bailed.
Money and this drugs is not worth killing someone right now.
Yeah, I hope crazy. That's what they interpreted. I think they ran away because they were scared, and then like they Squidhead and his boys, we're all just like shooting guns up in the air, like approaching the box in the woods that they lived in, and they get it. There's empty, and they just find Daniel, and they take him to
a hospital.
They take him to a house, and they like feed him some painkillers.
Oh, they didn't. They want to go to the hospital. They didn't want to have to.
It was. He ended up going to the hospital. We'll get to that point.
Yeah.
This is a crazy. I'm sorry this has to be so heavy, but
it ain't heavy,
It's heavy for me because this is my family.
Yeah.
So like my brother, like he didn't want to go to the hospital initially because he was worried about like the implications of, calling 911 and what the law might do. And actually, what's crazy
they're gonna
about
go visit
that?
the shack too, where it happened.
Yeah. So it's like there was two ways to get into the lot, like the farmland that this box in the wood was at. There was a back way and a front way, and like all of Squidhead's gangster friends came in one way, and they were like shooting up in the air, and they realized there was nothing there, and then their other roommate comes running out of the woods, right? And he was like, guys, it's okay, I just called the cops. They're on their way. They're on the way.
Is that dude smart though?
No, he's a dumbass. Yeah,
I could tell. Like,
he's a fucking dumbass.
He's like, and there's drugs in.
Yeah. So he straight up, like, pretty much like when my brother was getting nailed on, he didn't like go to like protect him or like calm down the situation. He bailed out the window and ran to a place where he could find a phone, called the cops, and got him to come here. And while all that other shit was happening, like Squidhead's gangster buddies were there just shooting guns up in the air, like, what the fuck is up, man? You fucking coming to us, man? And then the two guys that broke in bailed, and then
they're dumb too because they left their car with a license plate.
Yeah, but they're fucking in jail for like a long ass time.
Okay.
They're still paying.
They got caught.
Yeah, they got caught, and they're still paying my brother like fucking government money for that shit. Like, because I'll tell you what all
crime
happened.
doesn't pay.
Crime does not pay. Leave my brother alone, please.
Yeah.
But like, so their roommate, whose name I honestly can't remember. I never liked the guy. He was a douchebag.
Yeah.
But like
Dumbo.
Yeah, Dumbo comes running out of the woods. He's like, "It's okay, guys. I called the cops. They're on their way." And then like you got these like fucking gangster ass motherfuckers, all with warrants, all with sawn off shotguns, all with fucking like just contraband and drugs and weaponry, unlicensed artillery, and they're like, "All right, we got to get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
So they gather up everything, all the drugs, all the paraphernalia, all the money out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And they go through the back way. As they're leaving, this is the story that Squidhead told me. As they were leaving, Squidhead was at the front of the box in the woods. They were leaving, and then the cops,
from the front.
like, just like the dust is still settling from them leaving. They come up, and then they like take my brother. He goes to the hospital. He has to get his jaw wired shut in 6 places, 3 on each side. He was eating smoothies for 2 months.
What did y'all tell y'all's mom?
Oh man, it was so crazy. That is like that. The familial relationship was crazy because it was my brother's birthday. My sister, which I told you I'm really close with, like she had a dance recital, like a high school dance recital, at the same day that this happened. And we were trying to be supportive of our sister. And to this point, I have been reiterated many times. Daniel, or my brother is brother Daniel is fine,
Yeah.
Like he's fine. And so I thought everything was cool, kosher, not wrong. I didn't know his jaw had to get wired shut in 6 places. I didn't know he got beaten to an unconscious pulp. I didn't know that. I was told he was fine, so I was just naive about it and stupid. But so my sister was having a dance recital, so we met up with our mom. It was me, Ben, my older brother, and my mom met up to watch my sister have this dance recital. And we were like, me and my brother Ben were just looking at each other the whole time. It was like, how do we fucking break the news that Daniel's in the hospital down the street? Because my sister's performance was at Koger Center. He was at the fucking Lexington Medical, like right up the road. And it's pretty much as soon as the curtains closed and my sister was done with her, very nice celebratory thing she accomplished. We looked to my mom and was like, Daniel's in the hospital. Did you know? And then, of course, all hell breaks loose. Our mom is like, what the she doesn't curse, but she was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then, we had to explain to her what happened. And then to the point I walk into the hospital room, in my mind, all I'm thinking is Daniel's fine. He's okay. Everything's fine, because that's what I've been told this entire time. And I just didn't question it because these are people that I trust. And I walked into the hospital room. I had a smile on my face, actually. I remember the emotional...
You thought that would be comforting.
Yeah, I remember walking to the room, and I was like, hey, I'm going to see Daniel. He's fucking got into some shit. This will be funny.
Yeah.
And then I walk in, and I actually see him, fucking basically black and bruised and purple.
His whole face is like just
like fucking mangled. And I just like, you think this is fine? You think this is fine? So that was, and then that was the moment. And obviously my brother is fine.
Yeah,
he is okay now.
Yeah.
But that was not okay. And then that was
Did your brother straighten his act up after that?
Oh, no. He's still doing his thing. And I love
he's a rebel.
Yeah, I love the man for that. He'll go through all that and still be himself, and that's fucking sick. I love Daniel.
Don't change, I guess now.
Yeah. But so you're talking about having a bad trip. It wasn't a bad trip.
Yeah, this all started from your herbal tea. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the association with drug culture and hippie culture. That whole where it's easy for people to be like, yeah, I'm a hippie, peace, love, and everything. But peace, love, and everything has a cost.
Yeah.
And that cost will end up being someone's brother.
Yeah.
Fucking beaten to a bloody pulp. Or if you're doing cocaine and you're just trying to have a good time, that cost is a Chilean child's hands getting cut off because they're not producing cocaine fast enough.
Yeah,
shit is fucking real. There's a cost for your pleasure. So you get out of drugs because that's why I got out of drugs.
Yeah.
Was because I understood the gravity of cause and effect.
Yeah. Consequence. Everything has a consequence.
Yeah, and the algebra of the universe is perfect because everything balances out to zero eventually, and however much joy and blissfulness you experience based off of drugs.
Yeah.
That has come from a place which had to go through the experience of all that negativity we just talked about. So I'm not a huge drug guy.
Yeah.
Now. Because of that experience.
A lot of people were in their younger days, I guess. I definitely was in college. I went to Bonnaroo 2014.
Yeah.
When Kanye West was there, Elton John.
Yeah.
Did mushrooms for Elton John. Saw Wiz Khalifa. You ever heard of the band Cloud Nothings?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were there. I was a big fan of them.
Hell yeah.
Cage the Elephant, all them.
Yeah.
But
my first psychedelic experience was Bonnaroo 2012. I took 15 hits of mescaline and saw Radiohead. It blew my mind.
It was. So I never heard of mescaline. So explain that real quick.
It's a psychedelic derived from
mushrooms.
Cactus.
Cactus. Is it something similar to what's the called? Peyote? No.
Yeah, similar. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a synthesized version of it though, so it was we didn't know. Our entire group, it was me, Ben, and Daniel, and then a group of friends that we had that we all went up with. We didn't know how much we were taking. We just got some from this guy that had a fanny pack, which is the guy to trust, obviously.
Yeah.
But
you pull up in Bonnaroo, there's already flower girls trying to sell you shit.
Yeah.
I remember one night, this one guy, he was running crazy, and he kept saying "Where's the ketamine? Where's the ketamine?" And he's I didn't know what ketamine was until he told me about that. And he's and I learned about the K-hole.
Oh yeah, I've never experienced the K-hole. I've never done ketamine once.
Yeah, okay.
But I think it's super funny being in the hippie drug scene, and then driving down 26 and you see those depressed. Try ketamine. Those billboards. Have you seen those? It's so strange.
There's some doctors who really believe in microdosing, what's the word? The P word.
Psilocybin.
Psilocybin.
Yeah, and
ketamine.
There is some merit and some study to that. There's plenty of we're getting into Joe Rogan territory now.
Yeah.
But there is some merit to So
first just legalize weed, and then we'll
fucking. I mean, we could do like Norway and all those other countries that everything is legal, and then their crime rate is down, obviously, because there's less things to be criminal for. But come on, figure it out.
Well, US. Yeah, we don't have to keep going to drugs, but I want to keep I want to flip into like you talking about drug culture and how. Well, I'm gonna go into like addiction, basically. Like some people get addicted to some of those things, and we both like said we were talked about our like relationship with some of the things. And one guy was basically saying like addiction is like you want short term pleasure, even though like it's like long term consequence.
Yeah,
and it's a
totally
long term
true,
negative consequence. And he's like, that's basically what addiction is. And I guess anyone who's out there who's like struggling with anything is just like is something that's gonna last you like 30 minutes worth something that's gonna like ruin your relationships with your family, with your significant others, and just yourself too.
Well, let me tell you the story about this guy that I build cabinets with. His name's Tommy, and he's very open about this stuff. I think it's cathartic for him to be honest and like open about like his heroin addiction, because he was a deadhead, like a legit deadhead. Went to like 500 Grateful Dead shows.
Oh man,
you know, like and he was like.
I bet he still smiles and like tells great stories about it though.
Yeah, no, he does, and like Before I was going to do Alone in a Room Full of People, I wanted to do Angry Hippie Blues, which was another album concept, which was Tommy stories. Like stories that he's told just in a like country blues way, but it didn't end up working out, where it was like, I feel like I would need to get his permission to like tell his life story, and I hadn't talked to him about it yet because because of his lifestyle, his body is so worn down. Like he's currently like
he's dealing with that.
He's dealing with shit. He's got like a hip problem. Like he can't really walk, and he's a carpenter, so like he needs his body to work. So like I haven't seen him like all week basically. So like I hadn't really.
You need to take a week off.
Yeah, but like so like this man he pretty much like he had told me once like there was the love of his life that he still talks about, like his like soulmate. Like
every man has that.
Yeah. Every man has like something like that, and then like
someone they think about.
Yeah. So he was like, the girl was pretty much like, you can either stop doing heroin or you can stop seeing me. And he was like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
And like he still talks about how like it was a huge regret for him.
Yeah.
And like how just substance abuse ruined his relationships entirely. And put him in a position where it was like he was being not himself to a degree that was like violent towards other people, just because he needed to be well, is how he calls it. He needed to get well with this substances, because he was sick without it, and that's what addiction is a sickness.
It's a sickness, You got any questions for me, Aaron?
What's your relationship with substances? Do you have any like, other than marijuana, like any problematic things that like?
Well, food,
really?
Food? Well, I kind of beat that. Like, I'm an emotional eater. I used to be an emotional eater, and then once you like lose 50 pounds, you have to basically like fast and starve yourself and get the hunger pains. You kind of don't enjoy like, and then you eat like healthy foods, and then like 1 minute you eat unhealthy food, your body feels like shit, like automatically.
Yeah.
So my whole life, it was definitely food growing up. I remember like my whole family's obese, like morbidly obese. So I can complain about being genetic, but I mean I'm not in like the stage where I'm gonna complain about it anymore. I just gotta do something about it, basically. And
that's a pretty good mindset to have about it. Like doing something about it and doing something good for yourself.
Yeah, I'm not gonna just say like just chalk it up like I'm just gonna be bigger for the rest of my life. But growing up, it was food. Eating food, and just my mom. She was a single mom, raising both of us. And when I was 6, my mom lost her eyesight. Her gallbladder erupted and basically like poisoned her optic nerves, and she lost her eyesight.
I didn't know that could even happen.
Yeah, she was in a coma for like 30 days.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and basically they said she had like an 80% chance of dying. But she was big too before she like, had the gallbladder issues, and she struggled with her weight and just her confidence in herself growing up. And just that kind of like reverberated on us too. Mm-hmm. And that kind of just like, it's like, I don't know, like reading the Bible, like it says in the Bible, like some families are cursed. Like there's like in the Genesis, like a family does something wrong back in the day in the Bible, and God would curse that family line forever. So there was like this growing up is like, are we cursed? Like all these things bad happens to us. Like it's just because we're cursed by God. And But food growing up was definitely the thing. Like, if anything like was bad happening, my mom had a bad day, we would get Chinese food, and that was like our emotional like food thing. Like,
Yeah, like
when
the
something bad
comfort
happens, go get Chinese food.
Yeah.
So that was one of my like substances, like food. And then I was kind of like I was basically a straight. It was a straight edge. Was
Straight edge?
Yeah, I know. I like that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The triple X?
Well, yeah. Basically, like,
you don't do any drugs or anything?
Yeah, I was like that like throughout high school. I didn't go to my first party till high school graduation.
Wow.
I went to church, basically youth group, like every Wednesday. Went to church every Sunday, and I didn't see my first like blunt until at like high school graduation, and then my grandma passed away, like my senior year of high school, and then my great granddad passed away freshman year of college. And actually, I mean, we'll go into this too. I lost my virginity the day my great granddad passed away.
Oh, damn.
Because I thought that would because I was thinking about, because it was my grandma's dad basically. And I was just thinking about just death, my grandma. And I thought sex would help me feel better.
Yeah.
So then I got into just sex, like porn. I mean, we're talking about substance. You're talking about drugs too, but I'm like,
yeah.
I mean, could be a drug because of chemicals in your brain.
Yeah. Habit addiction.
Yeah, but mainly it was always just marijuana. I never really was an alcoholic. I'm a lightweight in general with weed, with any alcohol. Like, I don't know why my body just doesn't process it. Like, being big, you think I can handle my alcohol, but no, I just I don't know.
Yeah, no,
but
I understand. I mean, my roommate is 6 foot something, and anytime he drinks one beer, he's stumbling around.
Yeah,
it's not that sort of notion that
yeah,
body size has anything to do with
no,
it. It's not real,
But it was always weed. I did mushrooms, did acid, cough syrup. I did one time. You ever done cough syrup?
No lean, no nothing like that.
That was the most fucked up I've ever been in my life. It was like a Xbox controller over your head, and you just press X and do something, press Y. And
oh
do something.
Shit, that's wild.
It was the most outer body. It was awesome. It was me and one of the my neighbor Cole, who was he was a huge hippie drug head, and he got me into all that stuff my sophomore year of college, and he still wants me to come up to see him on 420.
Oh,
coming
true.
up too, but basically it's just been weed, and then I smoked with my friends all throughout college, and everything was fine. But then the minute I started smoking alone, and the minute I started staying in my thoughts, then I had an anxiety attack. One night smoking alone, and I thought I was about to have a heart attack, and I drove myself to the hospital. Have you ever gotten that bad?
That's
it's different. Yeah,
that's
different.
It's heavy. Yeah.
I drove myself to the hospital, and ever since then,
well, what'd they do? Did they treat you, or what happened?
At first, I got there. I called. I was trying to call my mom because I was like, something's going on with my heart. Something's wrong. And before that, I never had issues with my heart, and I was like, okay, this is different. And I called my mom. She didn't answer them. I called my granddad. And I was like, yeah, something's going on. He's like, oh, just go to the hospital. And I finally called my mom, and she's like, you might be having anxiety. And I was like, okay. But I was like, something's weird. And I even talked to the desk assistant person. They're I was like, if it's just anxiety, are y'all still going to charge me? And she didn't say it. And she's like, you got sign right here, and then we'll take care of you.
That whole
And then
concept.
I hate doctors. I hate the whole system. But
the whole concept of if you're having a legitimate health crisis and you have to worry or be stressed out by the financial burden of it, that's so wrong.
That's what it's it's big in my family. That's the reason why my mom, she her gallbladder erupted. She was sick for 2 days, but she thought she would just just fight it out and get better instead of going straight to the hospital, and she wouldn't have lost her eyesight. So
yeah, that's fucking.
That's health insurance for you. We can talk about that, but yeah,
that's so.
That
is insanely. I feel our system is just cruel to people who need the most help, which is exploitive to the nth degree. That's not. what kind of system is this even? Like,
yeah, it's not a system that works for most of the people. It only
works for the
top.
people at the top. You know, it works for the people with any wealth at all. But people that like need the most help have to suffer the greatest losses, which is, I guess, the entire late capitalist American system. But that's a whole nother thing. I guess.
Yeah. But substances, like my mom, like I was such a good boy. It was like so weird. Like she would smoke cigarettes all the time, and I would like get on her all the time, like stop smoking. If you loved your children, you wouldn't smoke cigarettes. Because I thought in my head, like we're all big. Like growing up, I was trying to like be the different person in my family. Everyone was like, they didn't go to college and they just lived their lives working like this oddball job, and then like they're unhappy when they're 40, 50, 60, and then they're fat and unhealthy and they have health problems. And I was like, I want to change this narrative for my family. And I was like, all right, mom, don't smoke, like try to be better. And then I was like, mom, I'm gonna be a millionaire when I'm gonna grow up. I'm gonna be different than everything. Like I always had this mindset, like I'm gonna like change things for my family. So I was like, I never
break that biblical curse that you thought you were like subjected to.
Yeah. So like I'm not a big fan of like cigarettes just because I didn't like them for my mom. But freshman year, like guy on my hall, he smoked, and for some reason, just like I guess the deaths in my family and like just being in college for the first time, I never was like outside of my shell until college basically. And I guess I wanted to like be cool. I guess just like you said, like being in a band, you want to be cool. Like you talking about your brothers, you wanted to be cool and hang out with them, so you wanted to learn guitar. Yeah. So basically, smoked weed, and that's really the only substance that I really like had a problem with. And I mean, I know that's weak shit because like weed.
Dude, no, anyone that says anything is weak shit is just haven't experienced the shit that other people have gone through. So like,
but I mean, also me is like I guess I just never like I just never been around people that did coke. Like literally, I only been around one person. It was my roommate. We were just hanging out with other people, and like the coke was there, and everyone did it but me. And I don't know, like
good on you for not doing it though.
Yeah, like I don't know, like for some reason, like I've done Molly, but like Molly was great. Have you tried Molly?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, basically, weed and food. But I'm realizing that like, you know, substance abuse, sometimes it's not the substance that's like creating the harm in your life. It's like the other things. Like when I stopped weed for like 3 years, I realized that like weed was just masking all my other problems basically. And so I'm just learning from that and learning that like
clearing your head over all that stuff and like kind of like having a more introspective dialogue with yourself about like the problems that you're facing and the solutions that you need to take.
And then like substance abuse in general, like some people think like, well, I think it's like it's due to trauma. I've been like going over this like in my head and it's like talking to other people like, is it because of trauma? Like everything in your life, is it because of trauma? And I'm realizing no, like
people's lives are just like complex algorithms, and like there's some things that just don't make sense. Some situations just happen. It's all chance. It's all chaos. And in a way, that goes back to the whole absurdist, nihilistic kind of thing, where it's like there's no reason for anything. Really, things just are.
Now, I have like a huge problem with that because like I always want to feel like I have a purpose and, you know, I'm meant to do something in this world. There's some weird concepts like growing up. You're talking about how you were afraid of like, you said hell or Satan, like growing up because of like religion.
I don't know if I said I was afraid of.
You said religion made you scared or something.
It made me scared. I wasn't scared necessarily of like hell or anything like that. I guess to some degree, every kid is afraid of the devil.
Like nightmares and how like it just goes down the line with that.
Yeah, but I think with my interpretation with religion, it was like I was scared more of like doing wrong, rather than like punishment of it. But like the
and
wrong.
How it works with like my brother and your sister and their fear of doing wrong.
Yeah, and that's like I don't know if like religious wrong, quote unquote wrong, that from the religious perspective might be something that just like someone's natural lives, and that's like goes to the thought that like I read this thing one time. It was this poet, I can't remember their name, but they said They said, "Forgive him, for he thinks the traditions of his tribe are the ways of nature," which is profound and to the degree that like any culture that you were raised in, that specific culture is going to be the way that you interpret reality and life in general. So like within like the Southern Christian variety, it's like if you're not, within this like tightly knit box of behavior and outlook and justice and duty towards
justice
the
makes me
Christian.
think about you talking about you're into the Marvel stuff, so we could like talk about that real quick too.
What is it?
I was just thinking of justice and like you're talking about like you're like into Marvel and
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We can talk about some Falcon and the Winter Soldier. We can do that.
Yeah. But before that, we're gonna put the pizza in.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
All right, so we're back into Things and Dreams podcast with Aaron Reece, and we're about to wrap it up. And we've talked about gangsters, being a musician since you were 10, being a Pink Floyd guy, and eating acid, and going through periods of like anxiety, and just like being on the road, and now you're a carpenter, and now you have a new album that you're working on, and you want to conversate with people and try to learn them so you can do the whole thing that you're talking about. It's just a lot to take in.
Yeah. Well, that's I think a good summation of everything is what you said, like conversate with people, is because I had so much anxiety, social anxiety going, and like this project is sort of like pushing me to like expand my boundaries. It's really interesting putting yourself in situations that are completely safe but you're not comfortable with.
Ooh, yeah.
And like expanding yourself through that. And like I don't have any problems hanging out with my friends and like talking, but like sometimes you do have anxiety about just interacting in general. So I feel like this experience I've noticed it has made it a lot easier for me, even though I've only done like 4 or 5 interviews, to just like sit down with people and just talk.
Yeah.
Which has made social interaction a lot easier just throughout my entire life. So I feel like this artistic progress or project has opened me up in a good way. So I feel like it's if it's only art for my own growth, that's sick. But if other people can interpret it and like take something from it, that would be so meaningful to me as a creator, I guess.
And we could talk about your last album, Talons.
Yes.
So I was listening to it. I like the song like Dominoes.
Yeah.
And then Winter Fires is really good. Your first one is what's it called again?
Idiom Idiot is how it's pronounced.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like idio and then in parentheses M/T.
Uh-huh.
So it's either idiom or idiot. So that was like the reason it's called that is because I was making fun of myself because I felt like an idiot writing these lyrics, but like the entire lyrical structure is a stream of consciousness spoken through entirely idioms.
Yeah.
It's like every line in the song is just an idiom.
How do you feel about being compared to another artist?
It's whatever. I feel like
has anyone ever said you like sounded like someone else? Because I have someone in mind, but I want to see if anyone else has said it.
No, I mean, people have told me I sound like a lot of people, and a lot of people have told me I sound like a lot of other people.
So that doesn't help you a lot at all.
I mean, you
don't want to sound like anyone in the first place. You're an artist, so.
Yeah, I mean, I have influences that I definitely wear on my sleeve. Obviously, like the Radioheads and the Bob Dylans and the Pink Floyds.
You have a groovy like feel to you, like you're very like groovy, like with your music. Like, where does that come from?
I don't know.
Okay,
I guess that's just soul shit. I
don't know.
know.
You have soul in you, basically. Trying to say. The band. Have you ever heard of German Error Message? You ever heard?
I've never heard that band.
Okay, so.
Oh shit! I'm gonna have to check that out.
So you remind me a lot about German Error Message. I found them off MySpace when I was young, and he's around our age. He lives in Tennessee. I've talked to him before and used some of his songs in some of my videos when I was in college doing college projects, and you needed to find free music and not copyright music. But you remind me a lot like him. Your subtlety in your drums, he's like that, and then your voice is very like what's the word? It's like outer worldly sometimes.
That's cool. Thank you.
Yeah. It's a good thing. And you just have a lot of like like I don't know how to articulate it, but intrinsic. I don't even know the words, but like just you have like melodies on top of melodies, and you know what you're doing when you do it. I can tell like you have like a lot of thought into it. So when you told me like, oh, I just made this over quarantine, I was like, nah, like, you put some thought into this.
It was 50-50.
Or if you're just like you're just really good and talented, and the world needs to know that Aaron Reece can make music really well because it's a great. It really is. It's enjoyable. I mean, it sounds weird to like say that to you because you don't know if it's like genuine, but it is. Like,
thank you. That means a lot. That really does. I'm glad that you listened to it.
Like
whether you hate it or not, I'm just glad I got listened to it. You know?
Like the first song, I think it could like some parts can like sound like it could go in like a commercial or something. Like, what's the first song? It's you talking about you love her. I fucking love her.
What?
Yeah.
What?
It's the letters. The letters.
Oh, I love you to death.
I love you to death.
Oh yeah.
It's killing me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah.
Yeah, I love you to death. And it's killing me.
Some of the bits in that because I like can go in like a lot of commercials. I don't know. It sounded good. Like.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That song is an expression of toxic relationships, and although you love people, it might not be good for you.
That happens. That happens a lot.
Yeah. So like that song was kind of inspired by this girl I dated a long time ago, but also about some relationships with musicians that I had been in close quarters with. So a lot of stuff coming together to make that like, because that used to be a Rare Creature song. Like I showed that to Coleman and he really liked it. And
he was gonna like incorporate it into the band.
Yeah, but then like I guess when we stopped playing together, he was like, "You wrote that song. It's your song. You should definitely take it and like do what you want with it," which I appreciated because it meant a lot to me. That song meant a lot to me, and those, I guess, ideas were very personal, and I felt like they were
you
mine.
own it. Yeah, you don't want to give it up sometimes.
Yeah.
That's we can go to this last like concept. It's just so I've known you through like the scene of like Columbia, New Brooklyn Tavern. I used to be a concert photographer for Scene SC with David Stringer.
Shout out David Stringer.
Yeah,
Shout
David
out Scene SC.
He's doing like he's the OG of like just supporting local music.
Hell yeah, he is. He's the man.
He literally is the OG. But I always see you as a guitarist and like, but you're a singer. Yeah. So
this is like the first project that like see that's one of the things with quarantine. Like everyone, I think, or a lot of people develop new skills.
New skills? You just developed singing?
Yeah, I just took some singing lessons. Like I was like,
You seriously took singing lessons?
Yeah, I always wanted to be a good singer, but I had a dog shit voice.
Really?
Yeah, so I took some. There's this online course that I took that like was really helpful, and it's called 30-Day Singer. This is not a plug or anything, but
this is so. I didn't realize like. Yeah, you could go into, but like that's why I was like, well, that's one concept I want to talk about. It's just like you're a guitarist, but you're also like a solo artist. Like, how's that work? Because like
that's going back to what we were talking about, like all the music projects that I've been in, whether it's Dempsey, Give 'Em Hell Kid when I was in high school, Rare Creatures. I've always just been the dude that's helping a homie out when they needed a guitar player, and like the music I'm writing now.
So you're 27 and you just started singing.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I was doing the Bob Dylan folk singing bullshit before, like.
Okay.
But like, as far as like actually writing complex melodies that I like was confident in singing, that happened very, very recently.
Yeah. So I want to bring you back on, and I want you to perform when you're ready.
Yeah. I'll be happy to. It's.
I know some of those songs. Like, I don't know. I'm not musically inclined to like realize that like. Can you just play it on a guitar? Like,
I could, but
I know it's hard. That's what I'm basically.
The
a lot of the things you got going on there. Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it's like layered. So like, what my performance goal as far as like playing these songs is like having a MIDI sampler essentially, and like calling in a bunch of the samples that I have pre-recorded, and then playing along with them, whether that's on the keyboard or the guitar.
All did on Logic.
At the time, I was using GarageBand.
Hell yeah. Okay.
So I just recently got Logic like this week. I'm stoked on it. It's a great program. More intuitive than GarageBand, but the same feel, which I like a lot. But
all right. So we can wrap it up there. If you want to plug yourself for the audience.
Yeah. My name's Aaron Reece. It's the Spacey Dude This is Things and Dreams, and it's been a fantastic conversation, and I have appreciated the shared time.
Yes, sir, man. Awesome. First guest, yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, thank you. And this will be coming out technically in 4 hours, so I need to get to work. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Hell yeah.